go fast, that's a no-brainer. But at this track, speed is taken to a whole new level. And we here at Speed will take you there. Are you ready? It's trucks in Atlanta. You better be. Today, some veterans will celebrate milestones. We'll tell you why it's a big day for Rick Crawford and Matt Crafton. And a two-wheel superstar tries to impress his four-wheel boss, a boss who happens to be in the field. And another teammate is the best of all three at this track. But can anyone knock this guy off his Atlanta throne? What do an Olympic sprinter, a cheetah, and this track have in common? All are known for being lightning fast. This afternoon, the Camping World Truck Series is back on track. And what a track to be at Atlanta. The setup is on. It's the fastest half hour on television, coming to you from one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda, and welcome to the setup. How fast are we? Well, Sprint Cup practice just finished. We are scrambling down here to bring you the best half-hour pre-race show in all of the business. Talk about weather. It's always a factor here at this track. Last year, it was snowing. This morning, we had overcast conditions, a little bit of light precipitation, actually delayed qualifying about an hour. But look at the sky today. It is absolutely beautiful, and we are about to begin one of the craziest shows in all of NASCAR. So let's go ahead and tell you what you need to know before you strap in. The top stories happening here at the track right now. Let's start with our front row, and two very familiar names, two guys who are making headlines also. Kyle Busch on the pole alongside Rick Crawford. More on Rick Crawford in just a minute, but Kyle Busch is trying to win his fourth race at Atlanta in just his fifth Atlanta truck start. Trucks are rough, raw, and today they are definitely rowdy. Also, what about Rick Crawford? Well, today he is Mr. 300, making his 300th career Truck Series start, all for the same manufacturer, Ford, and all for the same team. That is incredible. Also, we need to note Matt Crafton is making his 200th career Truck Series start. Some very impressive numbers for those gentlemen. Well, the trucks had an open date last week, so that makes this race number 3 on the schedule. Now, it's still early in the season, but already we're starting to see some familiar patterns play out and some surprises sneak in. Let's go ahead and take a look back at our first 2 races of 2009.
It's short track racing at 180 or 185 miles an hour.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is underway. Time Bodine goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Now, he moved below the yellow line.
He definitely went below the yellow line.
30, they said we passed below the yellow line. Check it out, Mike.
Sure enough, the black flag is out for Todd Bodine.
The man who has won the last 3 Speedway races in the Truck Series going to be seriously handicapped here tonight.
I've watched these races. I know how many times there's a big one. He said, I want to finish the race, and now he's in it. He's spinning out on the racetrack.
James Butcher got turned. Big crash.
Oh, and now coming up behind him, we've got quite a few more trucks. Oh, a big hit there for the 85.
Throttle's hung wide open, too. He's going to hit it again.
I'm telling you, folks at home, put your helmets on. Back away from the television. You haven't seen anything yet.
Lots of bumping and shoving going on.
I think the right rear tire went, Michael.
Todd Bodine is going to be able to hold up the pack. He'll win again at Daytona.
You guys are awesome. Hey, this is our house.
No surprise, Kyle Busch will lead the first lap.
I think he could sweep the weekend here.
He is the man to beat today.
Perfect is not a word we use often, but he's been perfect at this track in this truck.
Kyle Busch dominates in Southern California. He led all but 2 of the green flag laps.
Take a bow, young man. Take a bow.
This one's for Doug back here. This is Doug George's first win as a crew chief. So it's a lot of these guys' first win, as a matter of fact, too. So extra special to have everybody here today.
Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine finished 1-2 in Cali and flip-flopped in Daytona. Busch has the 5-point advantage in the standings. A lot of veterans are in the mix, but so are some newcomers. J.R. Fitzpatrick is racing for Rookie of the Year. T.J. Bell is tied with Hornaday in 5th. Timothy Peters, with just 2 full-time employees, is ahead of the 3-time champion. Let's go down to pit road and find out what Ray Dunlap is working on.
Well, Krista, I'm with Timothy Peters, and what an impressive start it's been. A 6th and a 9th. 2 top 10s have got this guy 4th in points. How do you keep the momentum going today here at Atlanta?
Well, we got our Hayes Iron and Metal strutmasters.com lingering around the 20th place start position, and so far that's kind of where we've been the first 2 races. So we've been able to come in the top 10 the first 2. Hopefully we can keep that going, but really proud of Chad Kendrick and all the guys on this premier race in Tundra. We've accomplished a lot with very little, so I'm looking forward to this race.
We're proud of you. Hope you can keep it going. He's 4th in points. Let's hear from the guy who's back in 6th in points. He's with Adam.
And that would be TJ Bell, 11th at Daytona. And a top 5 last week, your first ever a couple of weeks ago at California. So what is the biggest challenge you face here today, TJ?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be keeping the truck underneath us when these tires get old and greasy. You know, the tire here is pretty hard sidewall, so getting a feel for it when you get a long run, which I think we're going to have here in the Camping World race. So, you know, hopefully we just keep our Toyota Tundra underneath us and run all day and hopefully be up towards the front at the end of this.
They're not household names, but Krista, they're showing like veterans in the early part of the 09 campaign.
All right, thanks, Adam. And hey, I have to give a kudos to all the crew down here on Speed working on our pre-race show. How many other crews in television could start a show on one side of the wall while Cup practice is going on and completely move us over to the other side of the wall as the trucks are rolling out behind me? Talk about bringing you right inside the action. Well, as temperatures are warming up, we are heating things up in Atlanta, and we are just getting started. Stick around. The track is going to get slick, but you need to stick right where you're at.
Still to come on the setup. After a great start to the season, what lies ahead for Todd Bodine?
The goal this year is to continue with the truck, run for the championship. You know, we've got a great race team. Mike Jr. and all his guys are doing a heck of a job.
We'll look back at Kyle Busch's historic weekend in California. And a Truck Series veteran hits a milestone with his 300th start. All this and more when the setup returns from Atlanta, only on Speed.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com to check out this week's featured special, Checkered Flag Recliners.
Kyle Busch just in front of the 33 of Ron Hornet. They're fighting for the lead again. Kyle Busch passing on the apron. What was he doing down there? He gets into Colin Brown. He slides. He said he had to pass them where they aimed, and that's what he did. Side by side for the lead as they go down the backstretch.
As they come off turn 4, Kyle Busch to the lead.
This will be the 3rd win at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the trucks for Kyle Busch.
Well, the special at Camping World may be recliners, but there is no way Kyle Busch is doing any reclining. You know, it's been a while since Cup drivers thought back to Fontana because they had Vegas in between. But for the Truck Series, that was our last trip. And it was a trip, in fact, an entire afternoon and almost an entire weekend dominated by one man.
Kyle Busch, have talent, will race. He's competing in all 3 NASCAR National Series races here. He already has people talking about a possible weekend sweep.
No surprise, Kyle Busch will lead the first lap. He is the man to beat today.
I think he could sweep the weekend here.
Kyle Busch dominates in Southern California. He led all but 2 of the green flag laps.
Are you going to put on the California sweep?
I don't know, but we've got another fast hot rod for tonight.
Kyle Busch not wasting any time. Wow, he has opened up. What do I say? He's opened up on the field?
Some kind of can or something.
Yeah, he's led 41 of 44 laps, winning twice in one day. Kyle Busch makes NASCAR history.
Can you make it a trifecta tomorrow?
I don't know. We're certainly going to try.
I'll tell you what, that 18 car, he is picking them up and laying them down.
That little green car right there, he is trying to make history tonight. He's getting closer and closer to doing it.
Kyle Busch crossing the stripe will come home 3rd.
First, and 3rd for Kyle Busch.
It's a record-breaking weekend.
Kyle's numbers are not just impressive, they are plain unbelievable. For the 5th year in a row, Busch has won at least one race in each of the 3 series, and this year, it only took him 3 weeks to do so. Ray, that is incredible.
Well, his numbers are really unbelievable, Krista. He's got 3 wins here in the Camping World Truck Series in just 4 starts, and today he'll roll off from the pole. He just got done with Sprint Cup practice. He's changing his uniform right now, so hopefully we'll get to talk to him shortly. He's one of the guys you always have to watch. But we want to talk a little bit about the Iron Man of the Camping World Truck Series. That's Rick Crawford.
As they are dancing in the port city of Mobile, Alabama, Crawford wins his first race on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Here they come out of Presley dodging to the hindsight. Crawford goes down low. He tries to make it fast as they're coming to the line. It's
Crawford, that entire Circle Bar team.
And January 1997, that career start #1 for Rick Crawford. You have come a long way today, number 300. This is going to be memorable no matter what. What is the ultimate going into today's race?
Well, the ultimate is to take Tom Mitchell the trophy after we win today. But there's a story about that first race. January 97, Orlando, Disney World Speedway. Over 71 trucks was there. I had 1 truck, 1 engine, and 4 guys. We started 21st, finished 11th, and over 300, so that's pretty good.
Congratulations.
Looking forward to the day, by the way.
It is special, no doubt about it, Krista.
An emotional Rick Crawford. Thanks, Adam. That's great to see. You know, something else that's great to see is NASCAR taking a stand, trying to help these teams save some money. Specific to the Truck Series, some rule changes were made this year. One of those altering choices on pit road. We talked to some of the drivers and crew chiefs in the garage to find out what they think of the new rules.
They did a fantastic job for the owners getting it down to a 12-man roster. That was really a good move. The pit road stuff, bad move.
The pit stop deal, I mean, they definitely still have to work out some kinks in that deal. It's still, I think, a little bit dangerous for the pit stop guys to come down here just that much more.
Kind of posed a problem at the end of the race for everybody, for the whole field. We ran about 67 laps on a set of tires that were probably needed to be changed around lap 40, 45 in.
It's something we're going to have to adjust to. NASCAR's just trying to save us money. They're doing all they can for the Truck Series right now, so it's a little different, but we're all getting adjusted to it.
I don't like it that you can't take fuel and tires at the same time. It makes a guy not want to pit under the green.
It still remains to be seen if it's a good thing or not, but I think everything NASCAR does to, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is for the betterment of our series in these times. So it still remains to be seen if it's really good or not good, but right now, if I had to give it a thumbs up, I give it a thumbs up.
Well, I think everyone applauds the fact that NASCAR is taking action, but yeah, the big question, are these improvements working? Let's go ahead and head upstairs, bring in Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and find out what you guys think. Your take.
Well, only 2 races into it. Obviously, we heard the drivers say there's still some kinks that probably need to be worked out, but ultimately they want to save the team's money so that the sport continues on and the growth that we've seen over the past few years.
And that's the objective. And we had 2 differing sides of the coin at California a couple of weeks ago. Chad McCumbee and his team used that pit strategy to perfection, and they finished 3rd. Mike Skinner, on the other hand, we heard from him a moment ago, said he didn't like the rule. He came down pit road on a full run and had to put tires on because he felt like he was going to blow out a tire. So that's 2 opposite sides of the coin. NASCAR is just trying to help these teams save money. And the competitors are always their own worst enemy, believe me. Because if you give us $100 to spend, we're going to spend $110. So they're going to try to force us to save money, and that's what we're going to have to do for this series to really prosper.
And the other rule that will come into effect actually next race is going to be the engine rule, where you have to seal the motor. You cannot use a different motor in 4 consecutive races.
That's exactly right. Daytona and Talladega are excluded from that, but you will have to run a motor that has been run before. Now, this is not anything really new. A lot of the teams have done this already, especially I know the Toyotas sometimes run their engines 3 times before they rebuild them. But again, another measure to try to save a little money for these owners.
Yep. Krista.
All right, thanks, guys. Make room. Mikey's on his way up. Ricky Carmichael is in the field today. Ricky Carmichael has won in this city. Of course, that was on 2 wheels at the Georgia Dome. He joked earlier that his boss, Kevin Harvick, will be following him today. Harvick has never raced a truck here, but this team won this race in the fall. More to come. Who will answer the call today?
Yes, you're coming to the checkers. You are the man. There you go, baby. Way to go. Way to fight back. Yes, boys. Way to go. 2 in a row. Woohoo! Come on, baby. Come on. Way to wheel, Hornet. You're a hell of a driver, brother. Awesome job, KB. Good job, guys.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com to check out this week's featured special, Checkered Flag Recliners. And welcome back to the setup from Atlanta. You know, it was a few years ago that Todd Bodine won his first ever pole for a brand new sponsor at this track. And it was a couple of hours after that that he took that new sponsor to Victory Lane. Well, his team, the Germain Racing team, is starting off this year pretty similar to how they started off their organization in general.
Todd's got clear sailing.
All yours, boss, all yours.
It's Todd Bodine at the line. He'll win again.
You never give up, never think that. Hell of a job.
To the outside goes Kyle Busch, but it's Todd Bodine.
He said he didn't know if he could do it on the outside, and he drove by him.
Good job, everybody. It's Jermaine Racing. I couldn't be more proud of you guys.
This is my home. This whole place is part of me. I live, eat, sleep, and drink it.
I'm so blessed to be a part of this whole operation.
Established in 2004, Germain Racing has been one of the most successful teams in Truck Series history.
Germain Racing, good afternoon.
But this winter, things have been a little quieter at the shop. NASCAR's economic climate has changed, and a lack of funding put more pressure on all race teams to cut back and left only a road of uncertainty.
You know, this off season's been tough. We've closed down the 9 truck as a full-time team, and we run it part-time with Max now, and we don't have a sponsor on our truck, and that's scared a lot of people. We've laid some people off and made some changes in the company, but the momentum as far as racers, we're okay.
For the 30 team, they found their motivation last November.
Coming out of turn number 4, it's going to be Todd Bodine.
To win Homestead was huge for our team because it keeps the guys motivated during the winter. Kept everybody pumped up and working a little harder, even though, you know, we found out a little while after that we weren't going to have sponsorship, so that kind of kept everybody's chin up a little bit.
Daytona is the chance to start fresh, to start over, to start showcasing your dreams.
There's always pressure at Daytona. When you ride through that tunnel and you get butterflies in your stomach and the hair stands up on your arms, you know you're lucky and you get to do something that you love for a living.
For the 30 team, their dreams are simple: to keep racing.
Todd Bodine is going to be able to hold up the pack. He'll win again at Daytona.
Woo! In a row, baby. We're going out with a bang. Great job. Got the best race team and the best driver in the business. I'm just proud to be part of this team.
You know, we know that we have to perform, and the better we perform, the easier it makes for the people that are looking for sponsors for us. Makes their job easier.
You know, with no sponsor right now, we're kind of racing like a late model team, so winning's going to help us a little bit, but if somebody wants to help us out, it'd be nice.
A blank truck isn't new to Germain Racing. When the team first started, it was unsponsored.
Anybody want to sponsor a truck, we're here.
But after 2 years of success, the team landed a sponsor and a championship. It's only fitting that they find one again.
It's pretty hard not to have a sponsorship on the 30 truck, which was the foundation of this program. And that's why we dig so hard to make that program work.
It was a great day for this Germain Toyota. Still looking for a sponsor.
This is a family-based business. I'd hate to ever see this place in any more trouble than it's in. We've come through some hard times this winter, and the way to win championships is to start off strong and take it week by week and make sure that bad days don't turn into really bad days.
The goal this year is to continue with the truck. If we can acquire the sponsorship, we'll continue and go for that championship.
And Todd's getting some help this week. A new sponsor, Tilted Kilt Pub and Eatery, on board for a one-race deal. We hope it's even more. You know, Todd Bodine is a contender every week. That means he gets coverage in every practice, every qualifying show, every race. Ray Dunlap, that sounds like a gold mine for somebody.
Yeah, I think it should be great for any sponsor, Krista, no doubt. And with 9 wins on the mile and a half, Todd should be a favorite today. A 4th place qualifying run and some new stickers on the truck. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's way cool. You know, the truck's running great. Lumber Liquidator, how about that? Messed up already.
They were a good sponsor.
Great sponsor, but the Toyota Tundra is running great. I mean, the thing was good on old tires. But like you say, the best part of today is Tilted Kilt on the hood of this truck. You know, they're a great company, great to be involved with them. You know, they came on board for this race, and we're going to talk about the future of the team, the future of their participation in our sport. And hopefully we can keep them around a while. It's great to have them.
Go win a race, and that'll do good for them. It's a Scottish pub, the Tilted Kilt, on the 30 truck. Adam?
And Ray, the last time the trucks visited Atlanta, Kevin Harvick Incorporated went 1-2. Ryan Newman winning, Ron Hornaday second. Now today, 3 trucks here, you're in one of them. So are you all driver, or are you driver/boss this afternoon?
We're here to lay it on the line today. You know, everybody's here to try to win the race and have a good time. So this is a fun place to race. So
glad to be part of the race for the first time, and our Charter Chevrolet has been good in practice. Just have to see where it goes in the warmth today.
He's been good in the Nationwide Series and Cup Series. Here, his first truck start at Atlanta today. Krista?
And I know the fans are excited to see him out here on the grid. The drivers starting to make their way to the trucks. The trucks just rolled out here a few moments ago, so we are about to get things started. Who are you rooting for today? Well, stick around because we are going to wrap up the setup and get you ready to go green next here on Speed.
Kyle, you're my hero, brother. This is our house. Into the super speedway. Watch us crash. Come on, baby. Come on. Still there, still there. Thank you guys for a hell of a race truck. Still clear, still clear. Johnny Benson, you are the 2008 NASCAR Truck Series champions. Congratulations, guys.
The Advance Auto Parts Advance Look. After starting the season on super speedways, it's finally time for some short track truck series action. In 3 weeks, the trucks head for Martinsville, where emotions run high. Don't miss any of the bumping or banging from the paperclip. Catch all the action starting at 2 p.m. live on Fox.
The second of 2 truck races on Fox will be in Martinsville at the end of the month, but still to come this weekend on Speed, it's race day and then Sunday Sprint Cup race, the Cobalt 500. Mike Bliss, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch getting a head start today. Well, when you think of the race finishes that make highlight reels, this is the place and this is the series that flashes into your mind. And in just a few moments, these trucks behind me will be flashing across your television screen. There's Kyle, there's Rick. They are ready to go. Their knuckles will be white, their hair standing on end. Only one will be standing in victory lane. The American Commercial Lines 200 starts now.
Race 3. What happens today matters in Homestead at race 25. Matters in the championship battle. Matters along the massively quick Atlanta Motor Speedway. The venue for race 3.
They're side by side coming out of turn number 4.
They say Three's company, Rex,
across the infield sideways.
wins.
This will be the 3rd win at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the trucks for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch wins the American Commercial Lines 200.
And heart-stopping finishes.
It's Bobby Hamilton, Mike Skinner, and Bobby Hamilton will win on the high side. Bobby Labonte may hit again. It's Bobby Labonte.
The marathon that began in Daytona with race 1 moved to California for race 2. And now finds itself at race 3, the most important race, today's race 3 from Fastlanta.
The green flag flies in Atlanta. 2 and 3 wide racing is not out of the ordinary when you come to Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Camping World Truck Series. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series American Commercial Lines 200 on Speed. The stories are all building down in the garage and on pit road. And, of course, to find out those stories, we've got 2 of the best in the business, in Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander. Let's go down and hear from Ray Dunlap first.
Well, thank you, Rick. I thought I was crazy at the beginning of the season when I picked Johnny Sauter to win the championship. I still think they can come back. Yeah, they're back in 22nd in points right now. He got taken out at Daytona and had a problem at California. But this week, Jason Overstreet takes over crew chief duties for this number 13 truck, and I think you're going to see better results coming up. Adam?
And, of course, we remember in 2008 all the success that Chad McCumbee had driving the 8 truck. He finished 11th in the standings. Well, the 8 truck has been noticeably absent in the first 2 races of 2009, but they are back, and they've got an old familiar face behind the wheel. Dennis Setzer has partnered with this team. It is the first of what will be a 2-race deal. Setzer will be in the truck again at Martinsville. They've qualified 6th here today, and if they have a good run, that may bring sponsorship, which could mean a full-time opportunity for this organization. Rick?
5 different drivers in the field today have visited Victory Lane. Who will be there today? Let's go down for pre-race activities to pit road.
rise and remove your hats as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Mel Blackaby of First Baptist Church of Jonesboro offers today's invocation.
Heavenly Father, we recognize that you are God, the supreme ruler of all things, the creator and sustainer of all life, and you have given us a great day for a race. So would you grant our drivers wisdom in their decisions? Would you grant them safety in a competitive sport? And would you bless each home that they represent? And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Megan Peeler.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Let's hear it for the J-Star.
High fives all around. The anticipation of the start of this one is at a fevered pitch. We're about to hear those famous words of firing the engines when we come back. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com and check out this weekend's featured special, Checkered Flag Recliners. By the new 2010 Ford Fusion. Get in and drive one. And by Touch of Gray from Just for Men. Gorgeous day in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're about to get underway with the third race of the 2009 season. If you weren't here for the setup, let's get you caught back up and re-set up with Chris Devoda.
Well, Rick, I'm still down here because this is when things get interesting. Yeah, let's bring you up to speed on what we're looking at today. Kyle Busch on the pole. No surprise, right? He is going for his 4th Atlanta win. Alongside of him, Rick Crawford. Today, he's Mr. 300, his 300th career Truck Series start. Matt Crafton, congratulations to him. It's race number 200 for Crafton. And huge news for Todd Bodine and Germain Racing. They have a sponsor. We want to welcome Tilted Kilt Pub and Eatery to our dysfunctional little Truck Series family. And yeah, Rick, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see some of our crew wearing tilted kilts before the season's over. You know, Richard Petty Motorsports, it's not the only RPM, the Truck Series RPM. Rick, Phil, Michael, it's all yours, guys.
Thanks a lot, Krista. I actually have to admit I've worn a kilt before. I was in Scotland one time to a wedding, wore a kilt. But anyway, great.
I'm not surprised.
That's great to see a sponsor on that Germain Racing truck of Todd Bodine. When we come to Atlanta, I think we always expect great finishes, Phil. And I mean, it's almost statistically, it happens every other race. race?
Well, we've had 9 races here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and in 3 of those 9 races, we have had a pass on the last lap for the win, including last fall when Ryan Newman passed his teammate Ron Hornaday. So we always have terrific racing, and the reason we have great racing is because of this racetrack, Michael. You just got off this racetrack probably 30 minutes ago. Tell us about this racetrack.
Options galore. You can go anywhere. You can run right along that white line at the bottom or scrub the wall on the outside, and both of them work equally as well. And that's what you're going to see when they throw the green flag here in a minute. On the first lap, they're going to be going every which way. When they get to the first turn, the action starts early and it never stops.
Again, Kyle Busch out in front of the field. Let's get the engines fired. We go trackside.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of American Commercial Lines, Mike Ryan.
From the 3,000 employees of American Commercial Lines, welcome and enjoy the American Commercial Lines 200 race today. Now, let's get down to business. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
You heard in the command, lady and gentlemen. That's right. Gabby DiCarlo will start this race today. All of the engines are fired up. Can anyone catch Kyle Busch? He starts on the pole. We'll see if anyone can get by.
Race 3. Well, there are 22 others, and the fight for the big trophy still to come. Remember, this is Fastlanta.
This place is fast and it's furious,
where anything can happen.
This is now the fastest track that the Truck Series runs.
The countdown continues. Time's getting short.
Opportunities continue to wind down.
Race 3 is straight ahead.
It's like a war for the trophy, and these are individual battles. Who will win this one today? It's the American Commercial Lines 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Trucks are rolling off of pit road and onto the racetrack. A gorgeous day for racing. 71 degrees. Really not a cloud in the sky now. Earlier it was cloudy, but those have all moved out of the way, and a gorgeous day for racing. Our starting grid will roll across the bottom of the screen. It's Kyle Busch and Rick Crawford making up row number 1. Kyle Busch with his 4th career pole in the Truck Series. Rick Crawford making his 300th start in the Camping World Truck Series. We want to take a look at our Gander Mountain track description of this tough, just over a mile-and-a-half track.
Yeah, this doesn't really say it, though. You see it a little bit over a mile and a half. The corners are banked to 24 degrees. And as Michael said early on, you'll run from the bottom of the racetrack. As a matter of fact, Kyle Busch ran on the apron here last time. We were all the way up to scrubbing the outside wall. You see the front stretch with a double dog leg is 2,300 feet long, and the back stretch 1,800 fast feet.
It's a little bit longer around the top, Rick, but it's a little smoother up there. When you go down to the bottom, you're going to hit some bumps, want to upset your truck. So that's why some guys will choose the top. Some guys will deal with the bumps.
When we talk strategy, let's take a look at our ZMAX race analysis. 36 trucks will start this one.
Yeah, you see 200 miles, 130 laps, purse a little bit over $500,000. And the pit window, remember, that's key now. New rules this year. You cannot put tires and fuel on the truck at the same time. So there will be some strategy, but they can go about 52 to 57 laps on fuel.
And I think this is going to be great. We don't know exactly how these guys are going to play their strategy with the new pit rule, so another twist thrown into the race today.
And I don't think they do either yet.
It will all play out right in front of you. Now let's take a look at our speed spotlight, beginning with Ray Dunlap. Who's in your spotlight?
Well, Rick, today I want to look at Brian Silas. You know, he is a full-time competitor in the ARCA REMAX Series, and he's going to go for the championship this season, but only going to run a handful of races here in the Camping World Truck Series. Why? Well, he wants to keep his rookie eligibility for next year. He plans on coming here full-time a year from now, but they've got sponsorship on this truck from Rockingham Speedway, and remember, they got a great race coming up April 19th. It's the Rockingham 200. We'll all be there. That race will be live on Speed. I can't wait. We'll keep our eye today on Brian Silas. Adam, who are you looking at?
Well, how about Gabby DiCarlo? She made her Truck Series debut a race ago at California, finished in the 19th position, starts 32nd today, and she's been battling some flu-like symptoms, so it hasn't been a perfect first visit to Atlanta. As far as her Truck Series schedule for 2009, well, She says she's not exactly sure where they will go from here, but most likely the next race for them will be Kansas 2 races from now. And one thing is for sure, wherever she goes, Great Clips will be sponsoring the truck. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at the number 85 Ford of Brent Raymer. The last time we saw Brent was at Daytona. He's looking to make his second start here, but this is what happened to Brent at Daytona just a few weeks ago. Coming off turn number 2, running in the lead pack. Look at the right of your screen. Hard contact into the outside wall. The throttle hangs wide open, goes back into the outside wall, right through traffic. Fortunately, Brent was able to walk away from that. Here's another shot. Here he is, a hard contact outside wall just after the safety barrier. The throttle hung wide open, and he's going to make another hard shot into the outside wall. Fortunately, everybody was able to avoid him, but you see him with a BuyGeorgiaCabins.com sponsorship on this Ford. There's 2 people that work on this truck. Brent and his cousin, they work in a 2-car garage attached to Brent's house. From Concord, North Carolina, 23 years old. Brent Raymer is back here just a few weeks after that vicious crash at Daytona.
And he's ready to go. Talked to his dad earlier, and they're all pumped up about what they're doing. Let's look at Max Pappas. He's on a bit of a roll lately. He was top 10 in our last NASCAR Camping World Series race, and last week made his first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series start on an oval. Now, are you curious how to define passion? Just go ask Max about racing in NASCAR. You'll see him light up, and you'll see his passion.
A lot of passion. We ride along with 4 different drivers today, one of those being Kevin Harvick. Now, Kevin Harvick will start in the 3rd spot, so he's got a pretty good view, and we will ride with him.
We're also going to ride along with Colin Brown in the Ford onboard camera. Colin looking to improve on his career best of 3rd last year at Kansas. He will start up in the top 10.
Let's look at Kyle Busch. This is the view that we have of him. He's getting ready to go. If we looked out his front window last week or a couple weeks ago in California, we'd have never seen anything. So we'll see what he delivers today for pictures.
We also have the Toyota onboard of Stacy Compton, and he will start in the 20th spot. So we'll see if Stacy can move up through the field. Let's get our thoughts before green with Ray Dunlap.
Well, you guys are talking about Kyle Busch being up front. You might see him there a lot today here at Atlanta. He loves this racetrack. He's led 750 laps in NASCAR's top 3 divisions. But when we come to this track in the Camping World Truck Series, he's got 3 victories. And each of those wins have come in chassis number 11. And he is driving his favorite truck once again. He won last week at California with it. They brought it back this week. And if Kyle Busch wins today, this will be the truck that has won the most races ever in the history of the Camping World Truck Series. Adam?
And Kyle's best competition in 2009, no doubt, has been Todd Bodine, and he should be good here again today. The reason why? His success at mile-and-a-half racetracks. 9 of the 25 races on the Truck Series schedule at these types of facilities. Bodine has won more than anybody. 9 for him, 7 for Hornaday, and 5 for Busch. It should be fun to watch those 2 do battle here again this afternoon.
Todd Bodine will have to get by this front row. It's Kyle Busch and Rick Crawford coming to the green flag. Crawford starting his 300th race. A great start, and we're underway in Atlanta.
Harvick already peeking to the outside of Kyle Busch. Got a good start from that in that Chevrolet. He's going to drive up on the outside of that Toyota.
Rick Crawford got a horrible start on the outside of the front row. He's already back to about 6th.
Kyle Busch got on the gas. Rick Crawford was sleeping at the wheel at the beginning of this one, but it looks like he's back in line.
Remember now, Kyle Busch hasn't faced this in a few weeks now in California. Nobody was able to challenge him.
Who's going to lead the first lap? It looks like it's going to be Kevin Harvick.
And he may just be making a statement with that pass on Kyle Busch.
Out in front of the field, Kevin Harvick leads lap 1 in Atlanta.
Kyle Busch is going to try to make a statement back. I hope you enjoyed that, Kevin, because I'm on my way.
A big run on the outside, and Kyle Busch back in front.
A couple statements being made here already.
These 2 Cup drivers battling it out at the front of the field early.
We saw something we never saw in California. Kyle Busch getting passed under the green flag. Didn't happen.
Right behind him, that VFW number 33 of Ron Hornaday. Ray, what's going on early with these guys?
Well, Rick, I just wanted to tell you this is the 10th time we've run this series at Atlanta, and believe it or not, the pole sitter has not led the first lap in 5 of those 10 races. Pretty amazing. Harvick got the jump on Kyle Busch.
You see Harvick starting to close the gap. It looked like Kyle Busch had a really good second lap, but on this 3rd lap, here comes Harvick, and look at this battle.
Yeah. Wow, 3 wide. James Buescher on the outside, a little bit slow off the corner. Rick Crawford, teammate, pulls up underneath him. 3 wide right behind him.
Ricky Carmichael in the middle. I'm sure he's feeling a little uneasy right now in that position. He's got TJ Bell on the inside of him in the number 11.
Look at Terry Cook go to the high side of James Busher, trying to make it pass in that Harris Trucking Toyota.
2 and 3 wide back here in the field. Battles up front continuing. Rick Crawford drops back another spot.
Remember yesterday in practice, Ricky Carmichael was out there with his boss man, Kevin Harvick. Kevin was showing him the high line, and Ricky's up there already.
Ricky Carmichael tucking to the back bumper of that 14 of Rick Crawford. See if those two will work together to move toward the front.
It doesn't matter whether you like the high line or not. You better know how to use it, because you have to be able to go where other trucks aren't. Some guys will get down on the bottom of that racetrack and just stay there. You're going to have to make a move around the outside of them.
300 starts for Rick Crawford.
Yeah, an amazing feat for Rick Crawford and Tom Mitchell, team owner. Adam Alexander.
And not the start they would have liked. After rolling in the second position 4 laps in, Rick Crawford finds himself 12th. You see the replay right of your screen of the start. Crawford didn't say anything on the radio for the first 3 laps. Then he came back and said, no grip, none. Kevin Starlin, the crew chief, said, look for it and you'll find it. And of course, as you guys know in the booth, as far as drivers are concerned, you can search on this racetrack to help your truck.
And remember, the last time these guys, including Mike Skinner, Matt Crafton, were on this racetrack, it was about 10 o'clock this morning. Overcast skies, tremendous amount of grip. Now it's hot, over 70 degrees, and all these guys will be complaining about no grip.
2 distinct lines there. Matt Crafton running right along the white line. Mike Skinner was up toward the wall.
And we like the way Skinner's truck handled in qualifying this morning. He was able to run right along that white line. So we felt like he would be very competitive today. He struggled somewhat lately, Phil, but he looks like he might have a truck under him today.
Meanwhile,
yeah,
Kyle Busch has opened up a bit of a lead here, Rick.
First and second, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, in 1.3 seconds separating the two of them early on. Adam?
And you guys talking about Mike Skinner, I think the one challenge they have faced in the early part of 2009 is communication. They are still filling each other out. Eric Phillips is the crew chief, Mike Skinner the new driver there. I think once they catch their stride, this team will contend week in and week out. Right now, though, Mike thinks they are still a step behind where they need to be. Part of that probably true. The other part probably the fact that he's an impatient guy and believes they should be a championship contender right now.
And Mike Skinner running in the 7th spot, just a couple trucks in front of him. Chad McCumbee is really, I guess, put on the gas, to say the least. He started 11th and already up into the top 5.
Yeah, coming off a lot of momentum. He had a great run at California a couple of weeks ago, looking to get by the 6th of Colin Brown to take over the 4th spot. Chad has a great run going. He was awfully happy with the truck. We talked to him yesterday during practice. We talked to him today during qualifying. Just glowing terms about this truck. And Ray, what's going on with that 6th truck of Colin Brown?
Well, the first couple laps, Phil, he ran with the tire blowers on, the bead blowers, but he said he just didn't feel like temperatures were coming up. So he said the truck is better with the fans off. So he shut both the front fans off. So we'll see how quickly that tire pressure builds up. The temperature is starting to warm up here at Atlanta right now in the low 70s.
10 of 130 laps are in the books. It's Kyle Busch that's in front of the field now. He hasn't led all the laps, though. Kevin Harvick led the field at the beginning of this one. Kyle Busch picking up where he left off in California. Thursday on an all-new Bull Run, what began as a simple competition has grown into an intense rivalry, and disaster strikes when the teams push the limits of speed and strategy too far, too fast. And this time the consequences are bigger than ever. Don't miss an all-new Bull Run with Bill Goldberg Thursday night at 10 Eastern. Now, tickets are still available for tomorrow's race, the Cobalt 500, right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just call 1-877-926-7849. A gorgeous weekend for racing.
And if you want to see 500 miles of incredible action, you come out here to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Actually, Michael, running up high, you may run 520 miles or something like that.
Yeah, the groove is there. You're going to see a great race, just like you're seeing now. This is a battle for the lead. One guy up top, one guy down at the bottom.
Kevin Harvick challenging for the lead once again. Slides right in behind that 51 of Kyle Busch.
Betcha Kyle Busch is thinking, you weren't at California, were you, Harvick?
and now I'm glad you weren't.
Matt Crafton making the pass on Chad McCumbee. Moves up to 4th. Adam Alexander.
And no surprise to see Matt Crafton gaining ground on the front. He loves Atlanta. In fact, it's his favorite track. He started 12th today. Not the best of qualifying runs, but now, as you see, has worked his way into the top 5 going around Chad McCumbee. And then you talk about Chad McCumbee. You guys mentioned the fact that he was on the move early, started 11th. He is also up into the top 5. He got a top 5 finish in California, and all of the crew members along pit road were shaking his crew chief Bobby Dotter's hands. Bobby Dotter's been a long time in this series, and it's good to see him receiving the fruits of his labor. Ray?
Ron Hornaday on your screen right now, carrying the VFW sponsorship on that 33 truck. He just relayed to his crew chief Rick Wren that this track is much more grippy than it was yesterday. He says he attributes that to all the cup practice that they had earlier today here at Atlanta. He said the truck is really in the track. He likes how it feels, and he's able to run right down on the bottom.
The exact opposite of what Rick Crawford was talking about at the start of this race.
There's a good side-by-side battle right there. Todd Bodine moved to the inside of Colin Brown to take over that 6th spot.
Takes it away from Colin Brown as we're riding on board with the Ford Onboard.
We were watching yesterday in practice and in qualifying, and we heard all these trucks running just about wide open. Not anymore. They're already a second and a half, Rick, to 2 seconds slower than their fastest lap of the race. Kyle Busch's fastest lap of the race, 31.51 on lap number 2. His last lap, 33.65, over 2 seconds slower as the tires give up grip.
And just to tell you how the balance of a truck is really important, the fastest truck on that last lap was Hornaday. He was about 0.4 of a second faster than our leader. And the next fastest truck, Terry Cook, down in the 9th position. Didn't qualify well, but's got a real good truck in race conditions and is coming to the front.
Todd Bodine also moving toward the front. Bodine starting this one in the 4th spot. Actually has dropped back a position to 5th. Where he's running now.
You know, we talk about Tilted Kilt coming on board that 30 truck, and that was terrific. Let's also remind the folks that Geico also helped these guys get to this racetrack too with some sponsorship, as well as what all Toyota does for them.
This is fun here, Phil. Check out Harvick. You want to see a guy at work, running second.
Watch his hands.
Don't think he's cruising. Watch these hands when he gets down to turn 1. Listen to the gas, trying to figure out how much he can give it, what it'll hold. It ain't holding what he's giving it, is it?
He had to back off that.
Listen.
I love watching his hands work.
Front grip. Need to turn a little bit better, but I just make me turn a little bit better. I'll handle the rear grip. 10-4.
Now watch Kyle Busch. He's going to be doing the same thing. Oh, more so.
Well, a lot of handful of steering wheel right there for Kyle.
Downstairs, but she's down here.
Kyle had a handful of steering wheel over there in 1 and 2.
Side by side for the lead, and Kevin Harvick will get the nose out in front of that 51. Harvick coming through 3 and 4 will lead this lap.
And that's amazing. 1 lap ago, Kevin is telling his crew chief, Ernie Cope, I needed some more front grip. I needed to turn a little bit better. I'll take care of the rear grip. And then he passes for the lead.
You know, we touched on this in practice. Is he going to get more front grip now that he's got clean air in front of him? He had Kyle out in front of him.
He will get more front grip, and Kyle looks like he could use a little less front grip. He's really loose in the corners, and maybe if he can keep the pace up and get in behind Harvick, that will help his truck as well, because it'll take some of that air off the front of it. Air is very important when it comes to getting around the racetrack. It assists you or it can hurt you.
Side by side, 15th and 16th. Now Timothy Peters in the 17, Rick Crawford in that 14.
We touched on it earlier. Timothy Peters, what a great start to the season. 2009, 2 top 10 finishes, 4th in points for that very, very under-financed team.
Just about halfway on a fuel run. And we've gone a long ways here at Atlanta Motor Speedway under green flag conditions. Could we have a green flag stop for the 2nd week in a row in the Camping World Truck Series? It might happen.
We've never had one here at Atlanta.
We've never had a green flag pit stop here at Atlanta, so that might happen. Kevin Harvick out in front of the field, and right behind him, Kyle Busch running 2nd. Hornaday, Crafton, Todd Bodine, your top 5. Ray Dunlap.
J.R. Fitzpatrick had a vibration in the Mammoth Chevrolet. He decided they had to put more tires on it. He said the entry speeds of the corners are way too fast. He didn't want to wreck it. So 4 tires for the 7 on lap 25.
Remember, no fuel going into that truck right now. You're not allowed to do both at the same time.
J.R. Fitzpatrick will make his way back out onto the racetrack. And again, I mentioned it's about halfway through a fuel run, so that could maybe play into his favor if this stays green, because then he would just have to come in for fuel when all the rest of the trucks would have to come down pit road twice for tires and then fuel. Strategy could play in this one at Atlanta.
Caution is out for debris at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It comes out at lap 29, and that means pit road is a busy place. Chad McCumbee with a great start to this race. Outside the top 10 is where he began. He has moved his way into the top 5. He will pit along with Matt Crafton. You see him bottom of the screen. He said make no changes. They will not. 4 tires on this first stop. They'll come around for fuel. Ray Dunlap.
Kyle Busch at the very front of the field has the #1 pit stall. They're going to go down 3 rounds on the track bar and make some pretty big air pressure adjustments. He was loose on center off. They're going with 4 tires here. Harvick will be the first off pit road. Rowley right behind him, the 7 and the 33.
First round of pit stops taking place at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, you can't put fuel and tires on the truck at the same time. We'll be right back.
RDIV.
And welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're on pit road. Timothy Peters incurred a penalty, and so he is going to be held for 1 lap. They pitted outside the box.
We saw some damage on that truck too.
Looked like they dropped the jack, and the left front tire was not on there yet. And then to add insult to injury, he was out of the box, and he will be penalized 1 full lap. Let's take a look back at what happened. There's Timothy in the pits right there. You see him?
And then they had to.
Yep, and they actually could not push the truck back. So you see him obviously several feet over the line, and they had to work on the truck there. But here was the race off pit road. This is what's going to indicate who will restart this race up front. Brett Raymer, who was a lap down, is actually the first truck. And then here comes Colin Brown, that 6th truck. He will win the race off pit road. Looks like the 30 of Todd Bodine may have been second.
Just on his outside was the 88.
Matt Crafton right in there, then Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Almost 3 wide there for the race off pit road. And there comes maybe 4 wide, call it.
We saw Timothy Peters was in trouble on pit road. He'll be looking for one of these Aaron's lucky dogs. That's what Mike Bliss has been awarded. He'll get a lap back on the field and continue his pursuit of another solid finish.
Ray Dunlap.
Guys, it's just amazing down here on pit road after they come in for that fuel, when everybody's trying to get out of their pit box. All that traffic out there, the spotters and the crew chiefs really busy giving instructions to all these drivers. And we did have a lead change up there. The 30 and the 6 got out ahead of the 2 and the 51.
Green flag back in the air. Colin Brown brings him to it. Looks like J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 7 not up to speed as quickly.
Remember, he made that unscheduled pit stop, put tires on, then came in during the caution for fuel, and so he is out there without as fresh of tires as just about everybody else.
Look at these guys. They get with it in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, Kyle Busch went right to the top of the racetrack.
Kyle Busch again chasing Colin Brown, as well as Matt Crafton and Todd Bodine. They're in front of him.
The truck side by side right in front of Kevin Harvick. Kevin's trying to work his way through that traffic to chase down Kyle Busch.
And Colin Brown is our leader in the Conway Freight Ford F-150.
We saw Kyle Busch jump on Kevin Harvick on the outside early. On the 2nd lap, he got around Harvick on the outside. And look, he's going to work on the guys up front now on the outside. Todd Bodine to the bottom.
Todd Bodine takes away the lead from Colin Brown. A new sponsor on the hood. And rejuvenated Todd Bodine taking the point.
And I would dare say that's the first time that 30 trucks ever led with tilted kilt.
Really good 3 and 4 that time. Clear about 10.
Definitely is. Ray Dunlap.
You notice the 2 truck backed off a little bit there. He believes they have a loose wheel. Harvick saying a real bad vibration in his charter truck, so we'll keep an eye on it. He may be on his way back to pit road.
Those vibrations don't usually get any better. Sometimes on low air, you know, these teams adjust their air down a little bit when they put new tires on, so that as they get hot and the air comes up, they'll be in that optimum operating range. So maybe it's just a little bit of a shake because of low air, but more than likely Harvick knows it's a loose wheel.
Yeah, he's had them before.
Bernie Cope shaking his head.
Remember, with the lucky dog now, it's not the death penalty like it used to be to make an unscheduled pit stop and go a lap down.
But what is the death penalty is if you run around long enough to let it fall off. That'll certainly cause a lot of damage to the truck. Certainly get into the outside wall if that's the case, but he's making moves. He's passing the 6 truck.
Yeah, he's backing up right now. Colin Brown, remember, led the field to the green flag here on the restart, and now he's dropped all the way back to the 5th position.
We had a fast truck of Kevin Harvick behind him. Even though Kevin has that vibration, he's probably trying to stay out there and say, see if we can catch a quick caution.
Todd Bodine, a really solid corner there. Kyle Busch had driven about to the back of that tilted kilt truck.
From the center off.
But Todd drove away on the exit. Check out these numbers. 40 starts. 18 wins. God darn, I didn't know he could do all that. That's 50% almost.
Todd Bodine just in front of that 51.
He does have 9 wins on mile-and-a-half racetracks.
Matt Crafton just behind Kyle Busch. We see him tied on the hood.
Pretty impressed with Todd Bodine staying out there in front of Kyle Busch like he has. He's actually opening it up a little bit.
And look underneath Kyle Busch. Matt Crafton making a move on the bottom of the racetrack and bringing Kevin Harvick with him.
I don't know if that vibration is as bad as we thought it might have been, as Kyle Busch gets passed by Kevin Harvick as well.
Coming right down on the bottom, right down on the white line. Going to try to make his way by that Menards Chevrolet of Matt Crafton.
Two Chevys battle side by side. Kevin Harvick takes second away from Matt Crafton.
It's a strong truck, though, that Crafton has. And on the last long green flag run, Phil, Matt Crafton was one of the fastest trucks on the track. This time he restarted near the front of the pack. He was able to stay there on the new tires. Look for him to be a challenger here in a little while.
On the right of the screen, we see that 07 just in front of Johnny Sauter. That's Chad McCumbee. What's he talking about, Adam?
Well, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to pass a number of trucks to get back where he was prior to that cycle of pit stops. The reason is they came down in the top 10, but when they came down on that second cycle to get fuel, they didn't get the second can of fuel in. There was some issue fueling the truck. They're still not sure they got it full. So he lost a ton of track position by having to come down pit road a 3rd time. Now you can see he's on the move. He's gone from 21st to 18th since the restart. Unfortunately, that's 10 positions behind where he was when the cycle of pit stops began. And left to your screen, a battle for the lead.
Kevin Harvick trying to take it away from Todd Bodine. I'm not so sure that vibration
must have went away.
It's not there anymore. Kevin Harvick in front of the field, and it looks as though he's pulling away from Todd Bodine.
Wow, that Charter Chevrolet is really on the money right now.
4 truck length lead already for Kevin Harvick. He just went by Todd Bodine. Let's see if Todd Bodine can stay with him here at Atlanta. Kevin Harvick back in front of the field. The American Commercial Lines 200. Welcome back. It's time for another racing question from Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. How many in a pit crew and what are their jobs? If you want to know the answer, well, go to Ask.com, where NASCAR fans go to get answers. Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR.
And don't be so quick to think you know the answer to that. We've talked a lot about different rules. There might be more than one answer.
Kevin Harvick in front of the field after he got by Todd Bodine just a few laps ago.
Right now he has the answer to this racetrack.
And somebody that's trying to rebut that is Matt Crafton. He's taken over the 2nd spot, and the last time by he was just as quick as Kevin Harvick.
Look back at that number 51 of Kyle Busch just coming into your screen right there, top of your screen. Just a few moments ago he was battling the 33 of Ron Hornaday entering turn number 3, and Kyle had a handful of steering wheel here.
It's amazing the side of that truck isn't wiped off. Check him out.
Here it is. Now, watch Hornaday drive to the bottom. But look up top. Look at Kyle. Watch that truck get sideways right there. And that's right up against the wall at about 160 miles an hour.
Watch his hand. Oh, you can't see his hands here, but watch this thing get out of whack with him. Oh, yeah. When those things hook like that back the other direction, it certainly gets your attention.
That's what we talked about yesterday. When that truck will hook and go back to the right, you already have to have your steering wheel turn back the other direction, Ray.
Absolutely, Phil. And on that first round of pit stops, you remember I had told you he was loose center off, and they went down 3 rounds on the track bar. Should have really tightened him up, but Kyle's been back on the radio saying he needs a lot of wedge in that truck. That's what he's going to need from the next pit stop, and he's alerted Doug George. Adam?
It has not been an easy start to 2009 for the defending series champion. Of course, we're talking about Johnny Benson in that one truck. A new team not producing the same results. Now, they ran really well in Daytona, but got caught up in an accident. They simply were not good 2 weeks ago at California, and they have struggled here this weekend. But they have now hit on something. Johnny has gone from 18th to 8th early in this race. He just got around Terry Cook for that position. And Johnny also has to say hello to a couple of folks. John and Judy, his parents, celebrating their 50th anniversary, and 13th happy birthday to Caitlin, his daughter. That from Daddy JB, who's running 8th right now.
So Johnny Benson running 8th. Out in front, it's Kevin Harvick continuing to lead. There are 3 Chevrolets up front. Gorgeous day for racing in Atlanta. The pageantry kicked us off, and the racing will keep us here. Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the fastest in NASCAR. Tonight on Speed AMA Supercross, that's at 8 o'clock Eastern. Immediately after this race, well, that guy there in the 2, he's going to jump on a plane with Ricky Carmichael, his teammate and driver, as well as Jimmy Johnson. They're flying to Daytona to join that race, actually watch it. Ricky Carmichael's going to join the broadcast, though, with Ralph Shaheen and Jeff Emig.
And it looks like Harvick's in a hurry to get there. He is driving away from these boys.
He's in a lot bigger hurry to finish this race than Matt Crafton, because he's 3 seconds ahead of him right now. Good solid run, though, for Ricky Carmichael. 3rd ever Truck Series start. Had a great top 10 at California a couple weeks ago, and here he is running right now in the 12th spot, running with some good trucks. That's Dennis Setzer right in front of him, that 8 truck, who has a tremendous amount of experience, and Mike Skinner, that Exide Toyota, right in front of Dennis Setzer.
He's just trying to figure out how much steering to give it, what to do down in the corner, just learning. And, you know, we talk about guys running right out next to the wall. Well, every now and then, when you get really close to it, this is what happens.
You get really close.
Well, you get really close to it, and that's okay. But you hit it sometimes. Watch this.
That was Stacy just a few moments ago, and
boy, that doesn't even
that's about as easy as she can hit it if he hit it.
I don't even think that really counts.
No, I wouldn't count that.
It definitely got his attention. He knew he was about to hit it, but darn, what a save.
That's one of those deals where you draw up a little bit, trying to get your body away from the wall, and fortunately for Stacy, it worked.
Stacy Compton just in front of that 24 of David Starr. Now you see Matt Crafton getting by both of them.
Yeah, Stacy's dropped a couple of laps down, not having a very good run. Crafton, on the other hand, has got a good truck under him. He's just paling in comparison to Harvick.
Kevin Harvick out in front of the field. Matt Crafton about 3 seconds behind him. You know, we saw Kyle Busch falling back earlier. He's 14 seconds behind the 2 of Kevin Harvick now. Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, let's start with a 6 through 10 drop back for you right now, because TJ Bell is in 6th, and what a great run. He has been coming through the field. Now, he was a little bit tight center off, and on that first round of pit stops at lap 30, they put a couple of rounds of wedge in, and TJ said, boy, that thing really brought this truck to life. So he's very, very happy. Right behind him, let's check in with Adam. He's covering Johnny Benson.
And how anxious is Tom DeLoach right now? His teammates, you talked about TJ Bell and Johnny Benson right behind him, racing each other on the track. This actually a good thing for Johnny Benson, who has struggled this weekend. 18th to 7th, despite the fact his truck is tight in the middle and loose off. They're going to continue to work on the 1, Ray.
Terry Cook had such a great run at Daytona with that 3rd place finish, and then they had trouble at California. Well, what a rebound today. Qualified 17th in that number 25 truck, and all the way up through the field now. He had just passed Colin Brown, so he's into 8th position, and behind him, Colin Brown in that Conway Ford. Now, this is the exact same truck that Eric Darnell used to win a year ago at Michigan. They took it from the 99 team and turned it into a number 6 truck. Adam?
And Dennis Setzer has just made his way into the top 10 after starting 6th today. He was running back in the 12th position just a moment ago. He's been very quiet on the radio, and he's racing with a team who has been very, very good on intermediate tracks. Of course, last year this MRD Motorsports team took Chad McCumbee to 11th in the Truck Series standings. And running right now in the 11th position, you guys talked about him upstairs a moment ago, Ricky Carmichael. Now you say he started 15th, he's up to 11th, that's no big deal. Well, it is if you figure the only time he's ever raced in Atlanta prior to the day is on a motorcycle at the Georgia Dome. Carmichael looking very nice in his Atlanta debut. And right behind him, another veteran, Mike Skinner. Skinner had a good qualifying run in the top 10, but he just came on the radio and said, it's all over the track, boys.
I think we're hearing that, or we're seeing that from quite a few other drivers on the racetrack, because moments ago Crafton was within 3 seconds. Now it's 3.5 seconds, the difference between those two. Kevin Harvick continues to lead. Welcome to the Commercial Lines 200 here on Speed. Kevin Harvick led the first lap, and then it was Kyle Busch who was the dominant truck for a few until we had a pit stop, and then all of a sudden things have changed.
They've changed quite a bit, and if you tuned in a couple of weeks ago at California, you're probably thinking, where's Kyle Busch? We're looking at the leader, and Kyle's nowhere near. 1 lap ago, he was a second slower than Harvick was, and he's running in the 5th position. This is Matt Crafton off turn 4 in 2nd. There's Hornaday in 3rd. Here comes the tilted kilt truck behind Hornaday. Todd Bodine with a new sponsor. So my point is, Kyle Busch is coming, but he's a ways behind.
Really looking for a caution right now to make some more adjustments, get more tires on. There's Kyle right there entering turn number 1. Listen to how long he's out of the throttle. Remember, guys, they were running wide open in practice yesterday and in qualifying. Again, they're now 2.5 seconds slower. Kyle's running 2.5 seconds slower than his fastest lap in this race.
Listen to him out of the gas. He's coasting now. This morning he qualified with it on the mat all the way around this track. That just shows you how much these trucks change.
Well, that's what he was looking for right there, to get in and let Doug George make some adjustments to that Mikasuki Toyota.
We're hearing it's oil on the backstretch is the reason for this caution. Rick Crawford had just been passed, so more than likely he will receive the Aaron's lucky dog. Now the pit crews have to do it once again. Again, in the Truck Series, it will take 2 pit stops to change tires and add fuel to the trucks. You cannot do them on the same stop. A gift from Aaron's.
In honor of his 300th start, you think?
Yeah, they're just.
That might be it.
That's a good way to look at it.
I mean, Ken Butler and all his folks are, you know, like that, I think.
I think they are too.
So the Aaron's lucky dog goes to Rick Crawford. He'll be back on the lead lap. That will put 17 trucks on the lead lap. Again, Kevin Harvick took over the lead after the restart. There you see on the hood of Rick Crawford's truck that 300th start. This
Remember,
team owner Tom Mitchell.
So neat that it's been with the same owner,
Yeah.
Tom Mitchell, and all in Fords. Never
Global.
anything but a Ford for Tom Mitchell.
And he started 2nd on the front row, and you know this Aaron's lucky dog, maybe he'll kickstart him, get on pit road, make some adjustments. He can make something with this race today. His 300th start starting on the front row.
Yeah.
I know he had a lot of hope and optimism, and so far it's been a struggle, but that doesn't mean they can't get on pit road and adjust that Ford and get him going again.
And now they know what the racetrack's going to do. We're over halfway. The racetrack is not going to change substantially for the rest of this race, so now they know which direction the truck's going. They can maybe make those changes. If they change the right things, maybe a different story in the second half.
Get quick yellows in the Camping World Truck Series. Everyone will be allowed to come onto pit road, and 5 members of the crew can come over the wall to change tires or add fuel, but they can't do both at the same time. Adam Alexander, here they come.
And this first trip down for Matt Crafton will be the tire side of that, Rick. Lap 68 is officially when this second pit stop of the afternoon will take place for Crafton. He has been very cool and calm on the radio, saying the truck is great. He did say he was overdriving it a bit on that run. 4 tires on this first trip down pit road, Rick.
The 2KHI trucks are just 1 pit stall away. Absolutely no adjustments for Kevin Harvick. He said the vibration never seemed to get any worse. They'll look that thing over. 1 stall ahead of him. Ron Hornaday was thinking about a track bar adjustment, but they decided at the last second he was afraid it would get it too low. And Hornaday has to really get off the gas to avoid the number 17. Looks like he may lose just a little bit of time. Good race off of pit road.
Looked like Rick Crawford is taking advantage of maybe that Aaron's lucky dog. He jumped out and got the lead off of pit road.
The problem is that watch Kyle Busch right here now. He's going to have to come, actually going to go out in the grass to avoid the 7 truck, or the 7. You see, he had to go out in the grass to avoid the 7 truck right there. Now, J.R. Fitzpatrick.
He thought J.R. was
coming around the 7. Check up.
See, the 7 checked up because the truck in front of him pulled in his pit stall.
41.
Kyle was holding his pit speed at 41, and there were people in his way at 41, so he tried to look out into the grass to see if that was an option.
3, 2, 1. Put on the brake wheel straight.
Kind of a rough trip down pit road for Kyle Busch.
Adam Alexander.
And Matt Crafton, after getting 4 sticker tires, will come back down 1 lap later and fill up the fuel tank. He asked the question, can we go the distance from here? But hatefully, his crew chief said, no, we cannot. Fuel for Matt Crafton at lap 69, down to Ray Dunlap.
And this will be fuel also for these guys, only needing 1 can. Crew, they'll go to work on that number 2 truck, getting that in quickly. Hornaday is going to get a little bit of fuel here. This will be a good race off pit road to watch it. Other trucks coming down pit road. It could be a tight exit for Harvick. Here goes Harvick. He's going to battle with Bodine. Those 2 will race to the line. The first one off of pit road is Ron Hornaday.
Great pit work by Ron Hornaday and his VFW guys.
Been a lot of mixing up on pit road with these different stops and different philosophies. We saw Matt Crafton come in 2nd. He's going to go out 4th or 5th. A lot of different looks to pit road today.
So the strategy on pit road and the hard work determining who comes out first. Hornaday wins the race off pit road this time. Test your NASCAR knowledge with hundreds of challenging trivia questions, such as which driver was Cup winner in 2003 and 2004. See how you stack up. Go to speedtv.com and hit the Games tab to play NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Remember, Rick Crawford looked like he won the race off pit road, but he has to start from the tail end of the longest line because of being the Aaron's lucky dog.
He'll gladly pay that price.
Oh, absolutely. It's a mile and a half better.
Yeah, that's right.
Hornaday's out front. Todd Bodine running 2nd. Kevin Harvick 3rd. Can they stay in front of Kevin Harvick? That has been the task that everyone has tried to overcome up to this point in the race. 60 laps to go. Green flag back in the air.
And what kind of changes has Doug George made to that Mikasuki Toyota to see if Kyle Busch gets better, and he jumps to the outside right away.
How about 3 and 4 wide when they head into turn number 1? Oh, up the racetrack goes Todd Bodine. Let's see if he can get the pass, Meg.
Looks like they're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch. Harvick to the inside of his teammate.
Kyle Busch said, wait a minute, I want to play.
Wow, look at that battle for the lead.
Ray Dunlap.
Guys, just wanted to update Kyle Busch. He wanted to reverse that track bar change that they made earlier. He had gone 3 rounds. They went back 1.5. We'll see if that makes that 51 truck handle better.
Well, he's 3rd right now, and he was dropping back before this most recent caution. So let's see if the changes make a significant difference. Todd Bodine trying to hold off that 2 once again.
I just think that 51 truck's loose, Phil. You know, a lot of times you'll do that. He lowered the track bar, came on the radio and said, you made me looser. Lowering the track bar should tighten the truck up. It didn't work. It takes a lot of nerve to tell him to go the other way and raise that thing up. That's what he had to do and make a different adjustment. But darn, even on this short run, it looks like it's still really loose under him.
Todd Bodine just in front of that 2 of Kevin Harvick.
Harvick is just waiting, sitting there chomping at the bit to go get Todd Bodine, and he's got a truck he can do it with.
Ricky Carmichael in the 4 gets turned around. Problems behind him, trying to avoid the 8 of Dennis Setzer.
Trying to get back going, bud. Trying to get her going.
A lot of damage to that Malcolm Construction Chevrolet for Dennis Setzer. Dennis was having a good run in the top. On the lead lap.
Pretty hard front end damage here.
Somebody needs to tell Dennis to shut the motor off on that truck. He's going to lose all his oil. And
got hit in the left rear quarter panel. Left rear quarter panel damage.
That's spotter Andy Houston.
Oh, it.
Get it in the pit.
Looks like it met the trailing arms or something on that truck. There's a 6 of Colin Brown. He gets in the back of Ricky going in the corner, turns Ricky around. Ricky's trying to keep that truck off the racetrack, trying to bring it back down to the apron. Chad McCumbee does a great job getting by. Look at Rick Crawford. Look at the job he does avoiding them. But unfortunately, Dennis Setzer had absolutely nowhere to go.
Setzer couldn't see through Crawford's truck. Setzer had no idea that Ricky was setting there. You can see, watch Rick. He just gets on the brakes and was able to avoid the 4, but then right into the back of Crawford came Setzer.
Take a look at this. The Ford onboard of Colin Brown. You see the contact there.
Stay with it here. Offside.
Yeah,
Caution.
Absolutely no intent at all by Colin Brown there. Just ran into him, misjudged a little bit on where Ricky was going to back off getting in the corner. You see the damage. It looked like the 60 truck of Stacy Compton ran into the back of Rick when he was trying to avoid that situation, as well as obviously Dennis Setzer.
Dennis Setzer as well.
They're moving the 4 back off of pit road. Adam Alexander.
They just came down pit road for the first time. Rick assessed the damage, repaired some of the damage on the left rear of that race truck, and sent him on his way so he wouldn't lose a lap to the leaders. And I tell you what, another piece of the learning curve for Ricky Carmichael, what to do when you've been involved in an accident. He handled it very nicely, as did the team, Ray.
Adam, up on top of the roof is Rick Corelli. He's team manager, watching over all of the Kevin Harvick trucks. And he got on the radio with Ernie Cope and said, you have got to get your guys working together better. The gas man took too long. We came in first and we went out third. That's not acceptable. And guys realize this is his nationwide series team down here pitting him. So Corelli not very happy with the position they put Kevin Harvick in on the racetrack.
Take another look.
Watch, here's the 6 of Colin Brown, going to make contact with Ricky as they enter the corner. Just slight contact, just enough to turn him around. But Colin gets by on the outside.
And Ricky just was running a corner. You know, he just got run over from behind. Now, obviously, Colin didn't mean to run in there and hit him, but darn, it doesn't make Ricky's truck any better, nor does it help Dennis Setzer any. You got to avoid running over people, especially on a restart. You know, people are on different agendas on restarts. You never know exactly which way they're going to head. Let's watch Stacy Compton. Is there room up here for him?
Easy.
I'm pretty sure he was letting him know, take it easy. Involved in the crash, the 4, the 8, the 6 of Colin Brown, as well as Rick Crawford, and that 60 of Stacy Compton. We'll be right back.
It's Camping World's destination recreation.
You know, your local Camping World store has thousands of items for RV enthusiasts, but if you're a race fan, there's a special product line just for you. Now, this is one of my favorite products because you can throw this thing over your shoulder. It's a checkered flag chair. Now, all these items are sold separately, but this little table would be nice to go with it. And check out the floor mat. Put that in front of your RV, and you're good to go at the races. But this has got to be my favorite, the checkered flag recliner. Now, this thing is extra wide, and it is super comfortable. With just the flip of a switch, you lock it into position. It's got a movable headrest for you. And guess what? Here's the best part. Between now and March 16th, go to Camping World and get this one for $30 off.
As usual, seeing Ray in a recliner, kicking back, enjoying the racing. You can probably see quite a few of the checkered flag recliners right there in kind of a Camping World, right in the infield of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Hey guys, we have 53 laps to go in this race. We said that the pit window was around 53 to 57, 8, 52, 57, 8. I think that if guys stop now, they can make the rest of the way. But we have one to go. We have had a number of trucks come down pit road. None of the trucks running right up at the front. But what happens is if we get a caution later on, those trucks that stopped off for fuel can come in and get tires only, not come in the second time and have that track position.
I love that strategy. I'm like Chad McCumbee. I'm going to give me some gas right now and be done with that part of the equation.
Remember Bobby Dowder played the strategy perfectly at California, probably the best of anybody, and parlayed that into a third-place finish.
It's like he's on track to make another good move here in Atlanta as well. I love this.
Completed lap 77 of 130. 53 laps to go. Actually, when they come out of turn 4 and see the green flag, it will be 52 laps remaining. And as you mentioned, Phil, we talked about that fuel window being between 52 and 57 laps. So a few trucks did come onto pit road under this most recent caution, and now we're back to racing. Green flag back in the air for Todd Bodine.
Great start for Todd. He's able to clear the lap truck of Timothy Peters and get to the bottom of the racetrack, while Harvick will have to run the high side. And
look at Kyle go to the top again, trying to get to the outside of Harvick.
Kyle wants to go a little higher.
Kicking the dust up there next to the wall. Kyle Busch trying to take second away from Kevin Harvick.
Harvick and Horner, they say, not so quick, friend.
How about Johnny Benson that's joined this battle?
Matt Crafton in the 88 also right there in the hunt.
Johnny's in that one white truck right there, Red Horse Racing.
It was fun watching those two Red Horse trucks coming up through the field. Then they were nose to tail and heading to the front.
Boy, look at Kyle with a handful of steering wheel.
Sawing on the steering wheel is Kyle Busch, and he continues to saw on it as Kevin Harvick's going to take away the spot from him. Now he battles back on the inside. Here comes Kyle Busch. 3 times he's been to victory lane at Atlanta Motor Speedway, looking to make it 4 and looking to go back-to-back with wins in the Camping World Truck Series. Our most recent winner at California.
All over that 30.
Made some pretty good adjustments to that number 51 Mitsubishi Toyota.
Outside you. Still outside.
Just loose though, still.
Still loose. Kevin said, I wish these guys would figure it out. Maybe I'll just pass them both. Ooh, Kyle said, not so fast.
Yeah, I think I'll close the door on that opportunity.
Kevin's wanting to get that nose up underneath Kyle Busch, trying to get squeezed to the bottom, but he couldn't quite do it.
And got Kyle loose, though, even though as close as he got to him, he got him loose.
Look at the fans. They're on their feet cheering this battle for the lead. Kevin Harvick trying to do away with Tom Bodine and set out to take down Kyle Busch.
Look at Crafton, that 88, pull the inside of Hornaday for 4th.
Great battle in the top 5, continuing. Right outside the top 5 is Johnny Benson in that number 1.
And he's found a way to join that battle for the top 5. He's driven away from Terry Cook back in 7th. Johnny's up in the lead pack. A truck he was struggling with yesterday.
They got a report that he was
back there.
Still tight in the center of the corner. Looked like he had to wait just a little bit in the center of the corner to get back in that throttle.
Here comes Harvick.
Out of the throttle.
Look at Kyle dance around.
He's got to be thinking, okay, Kyle Busch has got his hands full in front of him. I got to wait for my opportunity.
It sounded like Kevin had his hands full. He was all out of the gas and wiggling around himself.
See on the back of Kyle's truck, the Red Top Auto Auction, a longtime sponsor of Billy Baloo Motorsports.
Great run by Harvick. He's all over the back bumper of Kyle Busch now, going into turn 1.
What's it take?
So these guys are wheeling these trucks now.
What's it take? What kind of effort does it take to pursue the leader? Look at Harvick. Left, right, left, right.
Look at him gain on him through the center of the corner. Get him loose. Get him loose.
Oh, I've got him. I'm under him.
Through 3 and 4, Kevin Harvick makes up all the ground. He's got the bumper on the inside.
Still outside. Outside.
Kevin Harvick will make the pass on Kyle Busch as they go through 1 and 2.
Clear. We're all around.
That's what he was waiting for. That was what he was waiting for. Oh, it pulled back to the inside.
Don't know why he did that.
We'll see if Kyle Busch gets the same run that Kevin did. Oh, Kevin really strong through 3 and 4.
That truck just like that clean air. Matt Crafton just a moment ago got by the 30.
He's wanting more wedge. Kyle Busch is loose. He's wanting him to work on it. It seems like the adjustments they made have improved that truck. He's just looking for more. You remember what happened last time when Harvick cleared him? He drove off to about a 4-second lead. Matt Crafton has got him in sight right now. He needs to get around Kyle Busch so he can keep pace with Kevin Harvick. That truck's fast enough to keep up with Harvick if he doesn't get away from him in traffic here.
Ray Dunlap.
And guys, just so you know, the 2 truck is definitely aware of Kyle Busch's situation. They have a crew member that's in charge of monitoring the radio traffic for the 51. Now, Kyle had just said 2 or 3 laps prior to that he's very good down in 1 and 2, but he can't make the nose stick coming off of 4, and they relayed that information to Harvick. So these guys know what each other's trucks are doing, and it was pretty obvious there when Harvick stuck his nose underneath. He knew that Kyle was loose, and it made the pass, and it worked. The 2 truck back to the front.
How about Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick out in front of races? They have swapped the lead 37 different times in their racing careers. 10 in the Cup Series, 18 in the Nationwide Series, and now 9 in the Camping World Truck Series. And take a look at this.
And Matt Crafton doesn't care anything about that.
He's like, I'm going to go right by Kyle Busch. I want to swap Kevin Harvick for the lead. Matt Crafton has made the pass, made his way up to second. Kyle Busch dropped back to third. Crafton trying to reel in that number 2 of Kevin Harvick. Harvick's led 40 laps today. Kyle Busch 25. Todd Bodine has led 16. The racing is always intense when you go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the finish is always breathtaking. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. By Ask.com. Get the answers to all your racing questions at Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. And by Gander Mountain. There's something for everyone at Gander Mountain's Fish Fest. Start the fishing season off right with great deals on name brand sportswear and fishing gear. Shop the all-new Gander Mountain, the stores, the catalog, or GanderMountain.com.
We got one of those in Mooresville.
AMA Supercross tonight from Daytona, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on Speed. Ricky Carmichael joins the broadcast crew.
I'm telling you, this race, if it goes green, guys, could get really, really interesting when we get down towards the end.
There's a lot of stuff going to go on if this thing goes green, because we've got guys that are running just outside the top 10 around there that they don't have to pit anymore. So there's no way that our leader can get on pit road, get gas, and make it back out without those guys getting ahead of them.
But did those caution laps give them enough cushion? Did they feel like they can make it? Or are they going to try it anyway and someone run out of gas? We're not going to know till the very last lap unless the caution comes out and re-racks the field. If this thing goes green, I'm telling you, anything can happen.
And if the caution does come out, there are trucks that won't even worry about gas. They'll make one trip down pit road, they'll get their 4 tires
and get track position.
Gain that track position and be in front of the field. And we see how important track position is. Once Matt Crafton has gained it, he hasn't lost it. He's sitting there running, matching Kevin Harvick lap after lap times.
Just a few moments ago, we're riding along with Kyle Busch right here. Just a few moments ago, watch Kyle. Look inside that truck, watch his hands. You see him? The back of that truck switches out. Kyle has to correct for it. I'm telling you, he is driving that truck loose.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, up at the front of the field, Kevin Harvick and Ron Hornaday know that they're about 3 or 4 laps short. There's no question that they can't make it without a caution. When we look back through the field a little bit further, we see that TJ Bell is reporting that they're only maybe 1 lap short. But right behind them in 8th position right now is Terry Cook, and he has been really easy on the throttle, and they've been talking back and forth from the pits, and they believe that they can make this thing all the way if it stays green. Adam?
And atop the pit box, Bud Hayfley is telling his driver to take care of his truck, but Matt Crafton knows he will have to pit again. Crafton scored in the 2nd position, but some of the other guys I'm watching that pitted at lap 76, Mike Skinner and Chad McCumbee. Skinner 9th, McCumbee 12th. Both can go the distance should this thing stay green.
You know, guys, I was wondering why the guys that know they can't make it, why they didn't top off. Because just as you talked about, Michael, if they would have topped off, they would have lost their track position right now. But if the caution flag were to come back out, they come get their tires, not have to come back in to get fuel, and they would get that track position back. And if it goes green the rest of the way, they know they can make it.
That's right.
I think it was a win-win, but not many people took advantage of it.
But we very rarely have green flag runs the length of what the rest of this race was when we went back to green flag racing.
As a matter of fact, never. As a matter of fact, we've never had
hardly
it.
ever, or let's go with never.
Never.
Colin Brown looking back. Mike Bliss behind him.
It's a battle for the top 10 right there. Colin Brown right now is in 10th. Mike Bliss parlayed a lucky dog earlier in the race to battle for a top 10 spot here in Curtis Key's truck. Mike Bliss will be doing double duty. He will be in the Sprint Cup race tomorrow. The Cobalt Tools 500, driving for James Finch.
3 drivers doing double duty, Bliss, Busch, and Harvick. And right now it's Harvick, Crafton 1-2 in their Chevrolets out in front of the field here at Atlanta.
The Aaron's Lucky Dog really does breathe fresh air into some folks. Mike Bliss got down a lap early. He was able to get that lap back. Now he's driven up into the top 10.
That charter, number 2 Chevy Silverado of Kevin Harvick, has been extremely strong all day today. He led the first lap, and then when pit stops happened, he was able to get back out in front. Here's a battle for 4th and 5th.
Remember that truck that was so loose at 51 of Kyle Busch? He's still battling in the top 5. You hear how long he's out of the throttle, and that's what it sounds like when you're running about 2.5 seconds slower than what you qualified at.
Red Top Auto Auction on the back of this truck. Looking back at the tilted kilt.
I love saying that. I love it.
Toyota Tundra of Todd Bodine. 27 laps of racing remain from Atlanta Motor Speedway. The drivers have had their hands full today. The one who has been able to battle it the best has been that 2 of Kevin Harvick out in front. Let's take a look at today's Advance Auto Parts save of the race.
Watch this spotlighted truck right here. That's Chad McCumbee. He is headed right for the door of Ricky Carmichael. Gets on the brakes, turns hard left, and avoids Ricky. Others weren't so fortunate, Phil. Yeah, but Chad McCumbee has parlayed that into right now running in the 12th spot. What could have been hazardous ends up being a top 12 run so far.
Save of the race was brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. It's exactly what Chad McCumbee is doing.
And there he is, right there.
Right in front of you.
Actually lost a spot just a moment ago to Brian Scott. It's following the 24 Zachary Toyota of David Starr. David is being shown a lap down.
To this guy, our leader, Kevin Harvick. He's led 61 of 108 laps, and he's just faster than everybody right now, Phil. The last time by about 3.5 tenths better than second place.
But is he going to have to stop? We heard Ray report that it looked like he and his teammate Ron Hornaday were going to have to stop for fuel, or at least felt like they were 3 or 4 laps short. Remember now, Kevin Harvick is not here running for points. That 2 truck is the first start of the year for that 2 truck, and may only run sporadic races. So will Kevin Harvick roll the dice and say, hey, what do I have to lose?
These guys are counting on history. History tells them there's going to be a caution flag before the end of this race, and they're counting on it right now.
We can either save it. The 33 is still coming out of 2 while you're going into 3. So, I mean, you're way ahead of him. So if you want to save, we can save. Just part throttle us through it.
They're already talking about saving fuel for the second place truck. That's the 88 of Matt Crafton. All still charging after Kevin Harvick. Tomorrow on Speed, NASCAR Race Day rolls into Atlanta, one of the fastest tracks on the circuit and one of the most unforgiving. It's racing on the razor's edge, and only one pre-race show can set the stage. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Live coverage begins tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Caution number 4 has come out at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is debris once again, this time on lap 114.
The strategy still works, though, Michael, for the guys that came in and topped off with fuel last time. They only have to stop one time for tires if they so choose. And do some of these other guys with this reduced speed of these caution laps, do they think now that maybe they're in their window and they're going to roll the dice and not come back for fuel either?
That's going to be risky. But coming back down pit road with so few laps left in this race could be risky, too. You could lose your chance to win. I think this caution is timely and it's opportune for us. We're going to have a lot of fun because of this deal getting all mixed up here late in the going. We're going to go back to racing with somewhere around 10 or 12 laps to go.
Adam Alexander.
And we have already gotten one report that Mike Skinner will pit for tires. They will not come back for fuel. No word on the fuel for Matt Crafton, although they were thinking if it had stayed green, they were going to try and go the distance. He was in conservation mode. As you see him on pit road, middle of the screen now, his first trip this time. Tires, we'll see if there's a second trip down pit road, Ray.
Down on my end, it's going to be tires and fuel for Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick, but not on the same stop, obviously. They'll put tires on this time, have to come back for fuel. But as I told you earlier, Terry Cook does not need fuel. He's going to get tires only and go out. Back to Adam.
Well, you cannot afford in this situation situation is an issue on pit road. Loose lug nuts on the left rear had to be fixed for Matt Crafton. That cost him some time. Ray?
Big wedge adjustment for Kyle Busch. He came in third, went out fourth. They got tires on that thing. I don't know about their fuel yet. I'll try to get you an update. But some of these guys have to come back for fuel, and that's going to really jumble up the running order.
And guys, we're going to know in about 60 seconds who's coming back in for fuel.
And, you know, some guys might make a decision based on how their pit stop went. You know, if they lost all their track position, they might say, well, heck with it, we might as well fill up with gas. But if they got a good pit stop and they're right on the fence, they might say, I got to have this track position. The driver is going to be arguing with the crew chief, saying, man, I love this track position. Can I keep it? Can I keep it?
And he's going to say, no, you can't. You got to come for fuel.
Not much of an argument, is it, Phil?
No. Historic start for Rick Crawford, but not the finish that he was looking for. As you saw the damage to the rear of that truck. He was involved in an incident on lap 74. And here come the trucks once again onto pit road.
We're getting a report that the 15 of Shane Sieg was too fast exiting. A lot of trucks staying on the racetrack.
Adam Alexander.
Johnny Benson, one of the trucks that elects to stay out, not take on fuel. Matt Crafton will come down. I thought after the issue with lug nuts, they may stay out, roll the dice. They do not. Just one quick can of fuel, and he is on his way, Ray.
And a splash for Kevin Harvick and a splash for Ron Hornaday. That's all they need. But Harvick says he thinks maybe loose lug nuts again on the number 2. We'll go back and check the wheels on that thing. Those guys are going to give up first and third on the racetrack before the pit stop started, and they'll restart this race deep in the field.
How about that 51 of Kyle Busch?
Kyle Busch stays on the racetrack for the second stop.
He's here to win races too.
He's the leader. He is your leader with 14 laps to go. Adam Alexander.
And Johnny Benson going to get caught with a penalty that will really put them behind the 8 ball. They had elected to not come back down for fuel, which would have gained them a bunch of track position. Problem is, when they came down for their tires, too fast entering pit road. He will have to drop to the tail end of the longest line for the restart.
To the longest line, single file restart, so all the way to the rear. Is that what you're saying?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I might get some gas. What do you think, Phil?
I would now.
If there's a green-white checker, he'll regret not coming down again. Yeah. He's giving up all his track position. Let's get on pit road and fill it up.
Nothing to lose.
I think 3 races here in the history of the event in Atlanta have gone into overtime.
Free it up. I'm right here, guys.
There's Johnny. He said, give me some gas and free it up. I'm going to start last. I got to have a little bit of help from you guys. 50.07. Speed limit's 50 miles per hour. 0.07. Got him. But a rule's a rule.
Yeah, pit road speed's 45. They give him a cushion of 5 miles per hour. And so he was just over that cushion.
They have to draw the line somewhere. I mean, you know, it's so that's unfortunate for Johnny, but NASCAR made the right call there.
Red top on the back of the Miccosukee number 51 Toyota Tundra of Kyle Busch. He's led 27 of the 117 laps today, and now back out in front of the field after not coming down pit road for a second time, staying out on the second stop that some of the drivers did.
The fastest truck here is 10th, though, right now. There's not enough laps for him to go from 10th to 1st, is there?
Not with everybody with fresh tires. It would be hard to imagine that he could do that with everybody with fresh tires. But hey, stranger things have happened, especially here in Atlanta.
Ray Dunlap, what's the strategy for the 51?
Well, with 2 laps before that caution came out, Kyle Busch asked his crew chief, Doug George, can we go all the way if this thing stays green? And Doug says, absolutely not. We're probably 3 or 4 laps short, but they are gambling that these caution laps will make up that distance. It's going to be very, very tight for him. Terry Cook also saying they can make the distance here. So interesting strategy for 51. We'll have to keep an eye on whether he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. Adam?
Brian Scott, who did not take on fuel there, came on the radio. He will restart 4th, and he said to his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, how will this thing drive with new tires and no fuel? Hensley replied, it will haul the mail. We'll find out if the crew chief is right. We're going green.
I like what the crew chief is saying. I want my new tires with low gas, my truck's light, and I'm going to go to town.
12 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch takes the green flag.
Kevin Harvick jumped to the outside of his teammate Ron Hornaday and made that pass.
And look at Terry Cook going around the outside of Kyle Busch. Did that thing sputter on the get-go, Phil?
It looked like it sputtered. It looks like it's not up to speed. Now it's getting up to speed.
Here comes Colin Brown on the outside, trying to take over second from Kyle Busch.
Oh!
Kyle Busch in front of it, but it's the 6 of Colin Brown that got turned around and hard into the inside wall.
Boy, straight into that inside wall.
Just in front of this truck was the 51 of Kyle Busch. He had to have had some help getting around coming out of
Yeah, they got all bottled up. When Terry Cook got on the outside of Kyle Busch, he didn't get a good run off turn 2. The trucks in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Colin Brown, Brian Scott Skinner, those guys got all wadded up. And somebody got into the back of the 6th truck and sent him to the inside.
Boy, and this is really going to hurt Kevin Harvick, because Kevin was back in 10th on that restart. Needed these green flag laps. Let's see what happened here. You see Kyle on the inside.
You can see how slow Cook is off the turn. Colin gets right up on the back of Terry Cook, hits him, and then bam, Brian Scott hits Brown in the back and sends him to the inside wall.
Just straight. Look at that safer barrier. Thank goodness for that safer barrier on the inside wall on the back stretch.
Even with the bad start, a huge break for Kyle Busch.
You saw what happened, Rick. Look at that truck fly up in the air. You saw the 25 truck not get a good run off too.
Yep.
The 6 of Brown ran up on the back of Terry Cook, and then the 16 of Brian Scott didn't really know what was going on. He just had it hammered down.
You see Terry wiggling there. He looks like he got a little bit loose and then seized up just a little bit. Brian Scott, really, you can't not fault him. He just touched the back of the 6 of Colin Brown, turned him around. Hard contact in the inside wall.
Let's take another look from the very start of this race.
Now check it out. I think Kyle Busch's truck stumbles, which makes me wonder, will it ever have enough gas to get to the finish?
It goes fine right there. Then all of a sudden, it just stalls right there. Terry drives around on the outside. Then the fuel picks back up in the 51 truck. He's going to drive up to the inside.
Now look at the distance the 6 closes on the 25. He comes right up on the back of the 20, hits the 25, but then gets hit by the 16.
I'll tell you what, the 5 of Mike Skinner hit the 16 into the 6.
It's almost like maybe Terry Cook's truck may have stalled for just a second up off that corner.
Watch this.
What a hard hit.
Look at how that safer barrier spreads out that impact. It takes time. It takes and stretches out how long it takes for that truck to reach its maximum impact. And that was a great illustration of what a wonderful invention the safer barrier is.
And how about the front end of that truck crushing in, so it absorbs some of the
Watch this now.
We're on board with Colin Brown now.
Watch him here. Clear low, clear, clear, clear.
He just had no idea he's getting ready to get hit.
We just got wrecked.
Yeah, he actually ran in the back of Terry Cook as well.
That was a chain reaction crash. Those are really hard to avoid. There's no way to understand what's going on up ahead of you. You can't see through these trucks.
Watch this safer barrier right there. Watch this now. Look at that thing give, Michael. Look at it give.
Oh, that makes me smile. Makes me so happy.
That thing moved in probably at least a foot.
Yeah, and did you see it spread out?
Yep. Ray Dunlap.
And guys, it was not a fuel issue for Kyle Busch on the restart. They have no 3rd gear in the transmission, so that's going to be a problem for him as we go back to green each time. So Kyle Busch worried about that. He also came back on the radio and said, when the caution came out, I was definitely ahead of the 25. They need to relook at the tapes. We should be the leader here, but no 3rd gear for Rowdy.
And remember,
Adam?
I'm sorry, Ray.
Adam?
The guys upstairs talked a little bit about the chain reaction crash when they were looking at the replays. Mike Skinner came on his radio and took responsibility for hitting Colin Brown in the rear end, and his team said, nothing you could do, Mike. It was chain reaction. He said, nope, I got him. I'm the one that started it.
I'll have to, maybe when Mike sees the replay, he won't feel so bad, because it didn't exactly look like that.
Yeah, he did get into the 16, and that got into the 6, but the 6 had to slow way down.
The 16 was into the 6 anyway. It just was one of those bad situations. We had more than 10 laps to go, so James Busher, courtesy of Aaron's, will get a lap back on the field.
Remember Kyle Busch, what Ray reported, Kyle Busch saying you need to look at the tapes. I was ahead of the 25 truck when the caution came out. That doesn't matter. We don't look at tape unless it's to determine the finishing order. They go back to the previous loop, and I'm sure NASCAR did that and determined that the 25 of Terry Cook was in the lead.
We talk about loops. It's a line that is in the track, actually in the track at different
Probably
locations.
8 or 10 different loops on this racetrack.
And when the caution fell, he might have very well been ahead of Terry Cook, but he wasn't ahead of him when they crossed the last scoring loop. That sets the lineup, and we've got 10 to go. Wow, another exciting finish from Atlanta.
We'll see how many wide they are when they get to the finish line today.
We're actually going to have 8 hopefully green flag laps.
8 laps in front will be Terry Cook. Now let's see how much room he can put between him and the pack, because we know that Kyle Busch is going to struggle getting back up to speed if he doesn't have 3rd gear.
Oh, this is going to be ugly for him. Look at him falling back. NASCAR don't let you fall back on the start.
Terry Cook slows, but back to the gas, and in the gas, and the green flag flies. Now Kyle Busch moves to the inside.
Brian Scott to the inside.
Brian Scott makes the move on the inside, takes the lead away from Terry Cook, and right behind him is Mike Skinner in that number 5.
Remember what happened a couple of weeks ago at California? Mike Skinner got in the back of that 16 of Brian Scott and turned him around.
Look at the truck back in the 5th, 6th place. Kevin Harvick is marching his way up in the middle of this mess. Look at these guys, too wide.
Todd Bodine also throwing his name into the mix. And
there comes Harvick.
The 0-7 also up there with Chad McCumbee. Kevin Harvick back there in the number 2. Matt Crafton in that tied number 88.
Look at Todd Bodine go for second over Skinner.
Now to the high side goes Skinner.
Todd Bodine to the bottom of the racetrack. He's got to run on the inside of Brian Scott off 2.
Brian Scott on the outside. Todd Bodine on the inside. Here comes Skinner looking down to the bottom of the racetrack. Todd Bodine's going to make the pass. He'll take the lead here at Atlanta.
Watch Harvick on the top of the racetrack.
3 wide there for a second.
Crafton backing up. Scott having to catch it into the wall a bit as he comes off of turn 4. Todd Bodine is your leader.
What a great job by Brian Scott hanging onto that truck. Almost crashed right in front of Harvick and then almost crashed right behind Harvick.
6 laps to go.
Here comes Kevin Harvick all over the back bumper of that 30 of Todd Bodine.
And by the way, here comes Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch has got the momentum back up in his 51 Toyota Tundra, and he looks to the outside of Harvick now.
Side by side for second.
Todd Bodine trying to make it win number 2 of the 2009 season. Kyle Busch says, wait a minute, I want to win once again in this season.
Both those trucks behind Todd Bodine are faster than Todd Bodine, but right now they're dealing with each other, and Todd's just looking in his mirror saying, please keep doing that.
Here comes Kyle Busch, a big run on the outside. He goes by the 30 of Todd Bodine as they go into turn number 3.
Still down here.
The momentum staying in Kyle Busch's side as he stays on the high side of the racetrack.
Just 2 wide. 4 right here.
4 to go, you heard. Start finish line, 4 to go. That time separated by 8 1/1000ths of a second when they cross the finish line.
Todd Bodine's
battle here.
This is what we come to Atlanta for. This is what makes this place so special.
Kyle Busch in front, looking to make it back-to-back wins. California 2 weeks ago, and now Atlanta. I think Kevin Harvick has something for him. Todd Bodine running second, though.
Todd Bodine moved down, shut off the door on Kevin Harvick.
Harvick needs to get around Todd Bodine. He's got to run on the inside. If he can get around Todd Bodine, he's still got 3 laps. There's a chance he can do something with Kyle Busch. This has been the fastest truck after the trucks get a few laps on him. You hear him, he's clear all around. Now he's going after Kyle Busch.
Here comes Kevin Harvick, his first ever Camping World Truck Series start at Atlanta.
He's got 2.5 laps to chase him down.
Kyle Busch sees that 2 in his rearview mirror.
I think he can get there. Kyle Busch is still loose. That truck side to side through the corners. Harvick's closing in.
3 miles to go. 2 laps remain. 3 wide behind him.
Look at Johnny Benson on the inside fighting back. Remember, Johnny had that penalty. He had to go the tail end of the longest line for speeding on pit road.
Johnny Benson down the bottom.
Good corner for Kyle Busch there. He put a little ground on Harvick off 2. But the last time through 3 and 4, Harvick really closed in on Busch.
We saw how good Kevin Harvick was through 3 and 4 earlier in the race. Let's see if he's able to keep that up.
Look at him sideways. Kyle Busch sideways.
Kyle Busch wobbles coming out of 4. And that closes the gap now. 1 to go. Kyle Busch in front of Kevin Harvick.
Oh, Harvick lost a little ground there.
All over the back bumper. Kyle Busch came down when they came into turn number 1, closed the door. Let's see if Kevin Harvick has anything for him. 3 truck lengths separate the 2 as they enter turn 3.
Oh, he's sideways. He gets a little sideways early in the corner.
Sideways again. Here comes Kevin Harvick coming out of turn number 4. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch will win again. 4 wins at this racetrack for Kyle Busch.
What an awesome job by Kyle Busch, hanging onto that truck sideways and holding off Kevin Harvick.
And he had his hands full with that truck.
Unbelievable. Kyle Busch didn't have 3rd gear on the restart, so he had to wait until he could get into 4th to get the momentum up.
It's like he was completely out of the equation, and all of a sudden he fought back, and then we saw him, he was 3rd, got by Todd.
Battling on the high side of the racetrack. What an amazing win, and what a record this driver has at this racetrack.
He's only won 4 races here out of 5.
Where did he finish in the other one?
8.
Yeah.
You're phenomenal. You are the best. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for not giving up.
Incredible. What a dynamic duo we have with Kyle Busch and Doug George. Let's hear from Doug.
And never give up is certainly a good way to put that one. I thought you guys were doomed, but you didn't give up.
Well, we completely lost third gear there, and on that last restart, he started losing second as well, and we just lost so much momentum. Strategy worked out well, but transmission didn't work out so well. But anyhow, kid didn't give up. I tell you, that Toyota Tundra Miccosukee Resort was on. I mean, the kid is phenomenal. I mean, we didn't have the best truck. We worked on it, and he never gave up, and that was the bottom line, because when he rolled in the corner, we were like 10 back, 8 back. I'm like, man, this is not good, and he just rolled the outside. He's just a phenomenal driver, man.
For 09, how about a second and 2 firsts? That feel pretty good?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team's been working hard over the winter, and everybody in the shop. It definitely helped this year. We were a little more ahead of the game having our trucks built, and again, Billy Ballou and all the guys at the shop, everything's going good so far. We just got to keep working hard.
Go celebrate. Doug George with his second win of 2009.
Kyle Busch climbs back in the race truck with the checkered flag. He'll head to victory lane. Well, Kyle Busch again in victory lane. That, oh, by the way, is the 4th time in 2009 that Kyle Busch will go to victory lane for the top 3 series of NASCAR.
Didn't he do it like 21 times last year?
21 times a year ago. Doesn't look like, wait a minute, we've got a problem here with Hornaday.
Hornaday and Matt Craft.
Those two are not happy. Hornaday especially. Adam, what's going on?
Right after the race was over, they parked on pit road, and let's see if we can grab a word with Ron Hornaday. Ron, I know tempers are running a little high right now, but Matt came over right after the race had ended and talked to you a little bit. What went on there?
Well, I actually talked to him on the racetrack. He gave me a pretty good shove down there, and he don't understand. He pushed me up to the guy in front of him. When I turned left to go down there, he was already down there. Didn't know that, but he wants to do that. That's fine. I don't care. We build his trucks for him, so it shows how good the KHI is, because he done an awesome job in their truck. And got to thank VFW, everybody. This is a awesome day for us. It just guys trying to run with fuel. I don't know how we can do this in these pit stops, so we'll figure it out.
7th today for Hornaday.
The pit stops made it fun, didn't it? I knew it would make it fun for us. It would be a struggle for the guys on pit road.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure the drivers are too happy right now. One driver that's extremely happy is our winner. Kyle Busch is headed to victory lane. We'll hear from him right after the break. Kyle Busch celebrating his 11th career win in the Camping World Truck Series, his 4th win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. After all that celebration, he made it to victory lane, right?
Well, he has climbed out of this Miccosukee Toyota. Old chassis number 11 back to victory lane. Kyle Busch has won 11 times in this series, 9 with this truck, but I'll tell you what, the way that transmission was, I didn't think you had a chance in the world. How did you do it?
I don't know, man. I got to thank everybody on this team, all these guys that worked so hard at Billy Blue Motorsports with this Miccosukee Tundra. It was awesome today. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. Again, all we did was bide our time and did what we needed to do to get there at the end of the race and win this thing, have a chance to win this thing. And want to thank the fans, like I said, Miccosukee, NOS Energy Drink, Toyota, TRD, everybody on this team. I mean, they're phenomenal. Doug's really one of a kind, and you know, Richie is too. We've had great jobs with Richie, and I think we're going somewhere, maybe.
I'll tell you what, Kyle, I heard that you didn't have 3rd gear, but somebody just told me you didn't have 2nd gear on that last restart. Is that true?
Yeah, the last restart coming there, I stepped in it, and as soon as I stepped in it and applied power, it snapped it too. So I had to go all the way to 4th and just kind of lugged it all the way around there. You know, I got out of the way so those guys could go and race. Didn't want to block them up, but fell back, I don't know how far, but I thought it was like 8th or 10th or something like that. It felt like an eternity to get this thing up to speed and get going, but once we got there, man, I didn't lift them final 12 laps. I just stayed in the gas wide open, ran the middle groove, and it prevailed. That was pretty awesome. So to race those guys like that, and I don't think we out-trucked them today, but we out-drove them at the end.
You know, when we look at the whole series, some of the best races we've ever seen happen right here at this racetrack. Where does Atlanta on your favorite list?
I mean, Atlanta's a great racetrack. It's fun. You can move around. It's enjoyable. But, man, when you get going on old tires, it is not that much fun. It looks like fun for a lot of us, but man, we were just barely hanging on. It's so technical and so finicky. I mean, that's what makes this track so good for all the drivers and shows what cars come out, what drivers come out. But Atlanta's a great place to race. It's probably top 10 on my list, but it's not in the top 5 yet.
Well, he looked like near death yesterday with a sinus infection. Pretty smiley today. Kyle Busch back in victory lane at Atlanta. Now let's check in with Adam, who has a very unhappy Matt Crafton.
We heard from Ron Hornaday and Matt Crafton on the other end of that ordeal there late in the race. So take us through what happened during the race and then once the checkered flag had gone in the air, Matt.
I just got a big run. I was in his left rear quarter panel, and he just decided to block me going into 3. And it's a fast place to go wreck somebody. I wouldn't get a wreck him going into 3, but I guess we might have to do that one of these days to maybe get him where they block him. He said that somebody turned him down, so he had to turn down. I mean, I don't know. I guess one of those race deals. My truck was so good all day and just messed up right there at the end, killed us.
Talk about the frustration, because you felt very good going into the race, top 5, top 3 all day long, and you end up with a result outside the top 10. That's tough.
That's horrible. I mean, that truck was way better than that. I mean, I don't know. It was too good, and just on that last run, it just got horrible. I mean, just got tight. I don't know what the deal was with it, so we should go on to Martinsville.
Thanks, Matt.
So again, we saw the heated tempers between Hornaday and Crafton. And you heard from both parties now. Hornaday said, I was down there, and Crafton saying, well, you weren't.
He had a run.
You weren't before you saw me coming. So obviously they'll live to race another day, and that next race will be at Martinsville. And when you go to short track racing, it always seems like, well, people remember things that happen on some of these other big tracks.
Yeah, you get over it between now and then. They got a little bit of time to breathe. They'll be all right.
A couple weeks before our next race, but only a day before he gets back behind the wheel. Can he win again? Maybe a sweep in Atlanta. Kyle Busch wins the truck race. Photographs continuing in victory lane for Kyle Busch and his Miccosukee number 51 Toyota Tundra team. Let's take a look at today's touch of gray winning moment and how they got to victory lane.
When we start this tape, you're going to say, how did he win? No third and fourth, second and third gear. He had to start in 4th, and he went all the way back to the 9th spot.
He got completely out of the race here, and then all of a sudden I look up and he's running 3rd, and here's the pass for the lead and actually the pass for the win on the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Makes the move around Todd Bodine. That was the touch of gray winning moment. Touch of gray from Just for Men. Let's go to Adam Alexander.
How about Terry Cook, top 5 finish in 2 of the first 3 races? You must be pleased with 5th today.
Well, pleased. You know, we'll drive back home to Mooresville tonight to see Amy and Cody, but you know, we're disappointed at the same token. You know, anytime you can get down inside of 10 to go and you're leading the race, you got a shot at the win. That's all you can ask for, is put yourself in position. And all day long we were struggling on restarts. Our second gear ratio was just too high. We were spinning the tires, and on that last restart I saw Kyle laying back. I knew he had troubles with transmission in 3rd gear, so I checked the field up a little bit coming to the stripe there to the restart point, and just couldn't get going again. Just, you know, was struggling spinning the tires, and then sure enough, 2 restarts in a row, we were running out of fuel getting into turn 1, and motor just stumbled. Just couldn't get enough fuel in the pickup and the fuel cell. So it was a great call by Danny Rollins and the entire Harris Trucking Toyota Tundra team to put us in that position to win it, but unfortunately just didn't have a little bit more fuel in that little black box, and they're picking it up. But nevertheless, still very pleased with top 5.
I appreciate the competitor in you that says, I wanted to win the race when leading late, but what kind of statement does this make for this team in this situation to come out of the gate like you guys have?
Well, it's huge. You know, we obviously have Harris Trucking. Toyota Tundra is, got Harris Trucking on it, but, we've had some great sponsors. Cajun Industries, TMASE has helped us out this year. S-Line has helped us out a bunch, but we're still needing sponsorship to keep running. And if we can keep running like this, I think it's all going to take care of itself. But, yeah, I mean, if we could have had another top 5 at California, who knows, might be leading the points now.
Solid veteran in 5th today. That's Terry Cook. Another one in 4th. Ray?
Well, the Exoid Toyota comes home with a 4th place finish, and what a start to this season, Mike Skinner. You start with a brand new team. There was a lot of question marks about whether or not you guys would be competitive, but a 7th, an 11th, and a 4th, that's a pretty good start.
Well, it really is. Today we had about a 9th place truck, and the way the pit stops all worked out, Eric
knew that our truck wasn't very good. He said, we got to do something. So we came in on the last stop and topped back off on fuel. So we had plenty of fuel. We were going to come down pit road one more time and get tires, but we were only going to do it one time. And several of the other front runners had to pit. So I think that moved us up a few spots, but we'll sure as heck take it. And I'm just proud that the Exide folks were here today. And you know, I want to thank American Commercial Lines for sponsoring this race. It was a great day.
I'll tell you, Mike, this new pit road rule sure keeps us hopping down here. How do you like it from the driver's seat?
It sucks. I hate it. It's the worst thing we've done yet, in my opinion. But I don't make the rules. I'm glad that NASCAR lets me come and play, Ray. I don't think the fans like it. I know I don't like it. We got our right front tire cut again today on pit road by another truck, and it's just it's a tough deal, but I'm sure they'll get it right. They'll look at it and make some right decisions here soon.
All right, congratulations on another good run. Mike Skinner finishes 4th, and Adam is standing by with Chad McCumbee.
And for the second straight race, Chad McCumbee able to use a good race truck, nice strategy, and a good finish. 6th place today. Your thoughts?
Oh man, it's just really cool that we can keep this momentum going. Bobby's once again the man on top of the pit box. We were good in the early going there, and we were a solid top 10 truck. We had some problem getting the fuel in the truck the first stop, and that went on into the second stop. And just, you know, obviously, you know, we would restart 20th or whatever it was every time, so we never really could show that we were still good. But, you know, he kept telling me that we were running, you know, probably around 5th place times the whole time. And so we kept confident, and we knew we just needed to do something to get some track position. And luckily, having a fuel problem, we could put a little extra fuel in because we were already at the back. And if it went green, I mean, heck, we were one of the few that I think could have made it. But, you know, strategy there at the end a little bit, you know, 4 tires, no fuel, and a few other guys did it. And we knocked a hole in the nose going around Carmichael, and that, I think that's what maybe kept us from battling for that win there.
Congratulations on a good day.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Remember, we thought he cleared him.
Yeah, totally cleared him. That could have been debris also, too,
Yeah.
that maybe poked a hole in the front of that truck.
What a great day for racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch collecting more checkered flags in his young career. Bowing to the crowd here at Atlanta. We'll be right back. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com. Check out this week's featured special checkered flag recliners. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. And by Royal Purple. Visit royalpurple.com to find a dealer near you. Kyle Busch in victory lane, celebrating with the trophy once again. It's happened so many times for this young man. Let's take a look at how he got there. At the very beginning, he was on the pole. Rick Crawford on the outside slows the outside lane, but that doesn't slow Kevin Harvick down.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick jumped by him on the outside to lead lap number 1. Here he passes him a little bit later on. Kyle's going to return the favor and get back by Kevin Harvick.
It became evident early in the going that this wasn't going to be a repeat of California. He got out in front out there and never looked back. Here, it was a battle all day long.
Timothy Peter had problems with the left front tire not being bolted on when they got ready to pull off. That was a debris caution for the first time, and then Kevin Harvick back out in front as he gets by Todd Bodine.
Harvick had the fastest truck all day long. And watch all the action on pit road. These guys are still trying to get their arms around the new pit rules. Kyle Busch out into the grass
to get around the 7 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Now he backs off and let J.R. get back in front of him. Here's a little contact from Colin Brown into the back of Ricky Carmichael. Chad McCumbee does a great job avoiding it, but Rick Crawford and especially Dennis Setzer with absolutely nowhere to go.
Then on lap 118,
we saw Brown put a little contact to the back of Carmichael, and turnabout's fair play. He gets hit in the back and put into the inside wall.
But because of the 25 truck not really getting going off of turn 2 right after the restart.
Neither one of those were intentional, just part of the racing deal, as they say. Look at Kyle Busch. Can't go at all. He's going to drop all the way back to 9th with just a handful of laps to go.
Less than 10 laps to go. 8 laps of racing to go. He drops back to 9th. And here he is with a pass for the lead and the win over Todd Bodine and holds off Kevin Harvick.
0.123, the margin of victory for Kyle Busch over Kevin Harvick this day in Atlanta. They're always close finishes at this racetrack. But again, toward the end of the race, problems between the 33 and the 88s. They had some words once they got to pit road. Ron Hornaday wasn't happy.
what happened.
Matt Crafton.
They exit turn 2. Matt's got a good run. Look at him up on the high side. Rondell on the bottom. Matt says he's got to run on Hornaday and dive to the bottom of the racetrack. Ron says, I need this spot, man. I'm going to have to block you. Blocks him all the way down to the bottom of the track.
Matt backs off, pulls in behind Ron Hornaday, cost him a top 10 finish. And they were a little bit upset feelings after the race.
Guy who did get a top 10 finish, actually top 3, Todd Bodine is with Ray Dunlap.
And Rick, what an unbelievable start to the 2009 season for Todd Bodine and Germain Racing. How about a first, a second, and third? That's got to make you smile.
Yeah, it makes us smile, but when you get used to the first, the second, and the thirds aren't very fun. But we had a great truck. It was a little too tight at the end. That short run really played into Kyle's hand. His truck was so free that it really would haul the mail there in the short run. So he had a good truck, good Tundra. Our Tundra was good, and really proud to be able to get tilted kilt. A great run on the hood of this truck. Hopefully we can talk them into sticking around for a while and having some fun with us. The Truck Series is a blast, and it's a great company, up-and-coming company. It's a pub and eatery. Great place to eat, good food, so everybody check them out, and hopefully we keep them around for a while.
Is it honestly the truth that if you don't get sponsorship, you will not be at Martinsville?
Yeah, we made that decision last week. If we don't have a sponsor before Martinsville, we're not going to be going. The Germain family, the brothers have put their heart and soul in this team, and Mike Hillman Sr., and we've done everything we need to do, and we've put ourselves in good position. And in this economy, it's just so hard to make a company or get a company to move as fast as we need them to move. A major corporation takes 8-10 weeks to get anything happening. We need something now. We need it in 2 weeks, and that's hard to do. So as good as start as we had this year, we've decided that we're not going to Martinsville without a sponsor. So we're actually going to talk to Tilted Kilt next week and hopefully sign them up and carry on down the road and have a great season.
Okay, we wish you the best of luck. Can you imagine? Todd Bodine's just a whisker away from leading the points right now. A first, second, and third so far this year, and a question mark as to whether they'll be at the next race. Adam?
Brian Scott will be in Martinsville, and he'll be coming off his first top 10 finish of 2009, and that could have all been for naught if it wasn't for that amazing save you had coming off of 4 late in the race.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. My crew got me where I needed to be. We were able on that restart to get the lead, and Todd got underneath me because I was really tight, and I went in that corner, and I'm gonna keep trying to hold it wide open, hopefully get it back. And Harvick had a really good run on the high side and just sucked me around and saved it once, and then it got sideways twice, and just like that, it went from second or third all the way back to 10th or 11th. And we had a really good truck, and we were there at the end, and we had a shot at it. That's all you can ask for. Our Albertson Toyota Tundra guys did a really good job all day. We were there when it counted, and we were at the short end of the stick there, and hopefully later in the year we'll be on the giving end.
Leading the race late, did you think today was going to be the day to get you to victory lane?
I really did. On that restart, when I took the lead, I didn't know that my truck was going to be tight. I knew that we had 4 fresh tires. We were low on fuel, so I knew it was going to grip really well. It's going to be nose heavy, and it should have just been a rocket ship. And as soon as I got under Terry Cook and held it wide open, had the lead coming out of there, I said, all right, I've seen Kyle Busch do this a lot. When he does it, he takes off. And we went through 3 and 4, and Todd was still there, and we went through 1 and 2, and more nose weight and less fuel and more grip. We traveled more than we ever had down there, and I bottomed out and shot up the racetrack, and he got underneath me, and just he got me. That's all you can say. I think I learned a lesson there, and I know next time if we get in that position where we're low on fuel but have good tires, we'll loosen it up and hopefully be a little bit different outcome.
Nice run today.
Thank you.
Young Brian Scott with another top 10 finish. Camping World points unofficially. Kyle Busch 25 in front of Todd Bodine. Again, Todd Bodine a first, a second, and a third. And he's second in the points because the guy who's leading him second, first in his first 3 races.
But here are a couple of guys in the top 5 that you expect to be there and will be there all season long. Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday.
And then another name like J.R. Fitzpatrick.
He's holding down 5th and 10th.
Pretty impressive performance early on in the season. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. A couple accidents took place today. One of those with the hardest hit had to be Colin Brown. He's standing by with Adam Alexander.
No doubt about it, Rick. Colin Brown gets the hard hit of the day award. The good news is you're okay. Take us through what happened there on the back straightaway.
Well, we came in for that last pit stop, and we elected to stay out, try to make it on fuel. I think we're going to be good. And
Got the restart there. Got a good run on the outside, and I don't know what happened to 25 on the top. He just stopped going, and unfortunately, I got in the back of him. Really had nowhere to go for me. You know, I had 51 on the bottom, and obviously the wall on the outside, and I got in the back of 25 and then just got hit from behind and turned around. So not really sure what happened, but you know, certainly unfortunate day for the number 6 Conway Freight Ford F-150 truck.
Ray, bestest rookie of the year in 2008 as we watched the hard hit from earlier today, and the pole at Daytona to start 09, and then a bunch of bad luck after that. How frustrating has the start been?
Well, it's frustrating. You know, you're running second or third there with 10 laps to go, and to get turned around like that's unfortunate, but you know, it's part of racing, and you know, I guess that's sometimes the way it goes.
Tough back-to-back weeks for Colin Brown, but he will be in Martinsville ready to go.
Remember, that's a 3,400-pound truck, and that was up in the air after hitting the wall. Again, unofficial results of today's American Commercial Lines 200. Kyle Busch with his 11th career win in the Truck Series. Kevin Harvick comes home second in his first ever start in a truck at Atlanta.
To Matt Crafton just outside the top 10. TJ Bell with another good run, a top 12 finish. Taylor Malsom, our top finishing Ray bestest rookie in 13th.
Rick Crawford making his 300 starts, finished a lap down to the field.
Ricky Carmichael ends up with a 21st place finish after getting wrecked over in turn 1 and 2.
Adam Alexander just caught up with him.
And Ricky Carmichael starting to sound like a NASCAR driver. You finished 21st, and you said we had a top 10 easy. Take us through what happened today, Ricky.
Yeah, everything was good. I was learning the track, and just unfortunate situation for the Monster Energy Chevrolet. We was coming into one there after one of the restarts. I messed up and spun the tires and missed a shift, but we got back going, and the 6 just got into me and turned me sideways, and I was a passenger at that point. And Setzer hit the truck, and then, then I just had to baby it along. Just unfortunate because we had a top 10 for sure.
Talk about the learning process of going through a situation like that, because that's a new ordeal for you.
It is, going sideways and spinning around for sure, just learning, but really happy that we are running that good and that strong at this place. It's a beast, and I feel like I learned a lot while our truck was in great shape.
So now you take off your driver hat and you become a motorcycle analyst, right? We'll see you later tonight on Speed, a preview of what we'll see in AMA Supercross at Daytona.
Absolutely. I hope we see some good racing, and we'll see you guys down there, but can't thank the fans here in Atlanta enough.
All right. Thanks, Ricky.
Yeah, thank you.
The GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, finishes up today unofficially 21st after being involved in an incident on lap 74. It was Kyle Busch that started on the pole today, and it looked as though if he was going to continue what he had done in California, he was going to dominate. But that wasn't the story here. It was Kevin Harvick who threw his hat into the mix. Also, Todd Bodine was right in there.
You sure were. And you see our next race will be actually on Fox in a couple weeks from Martinsville, actually a few weeks from Martinsville.
Kroger 250, Saturday, March 28th. That one kicks off at 2 Eastern.
That's a tough place to keep your feelings in check, isn't it? You get offended in a hurry in Martinsville.
We had some feelings hurt here earlier today. Maybe it will move on to Martinsville. You'll have to pay attention to that. A few accidents, a couple hard hits, but in the end, it was Kyle Busch, his 4th win at Atlanta Motor Speedway, back-to-back wins in the Truck Series in 2009. Kyle Busch in victory lane again.
It'll be bumping and banging at the Paperclip in 3 weeks when the trucks head to Martinsville. Don't miss a second of the short track action starting at 2 p.m. live on Fox.